Hi everybody, so welcome back. I'm sure everybody's liking this
Hey,
name. So today we have Gigi Nan, Raylene.
Hey,
Q is going to
everybody.
come, so it's going to be
hey,
a bit
everybody.
late. But we're going to be starting the Ready to Love finale. Oh my god, I don't know, I feel sort of like finally. This is the way I actually want to feel for love and marriage because it seems like the season is just going long, and now they've made it season 7. Like I'm just confused. But
Yeah.
let's get into the episode.
Okay, well, hold on. Before we get into the episode, though, we're going to throw a curveball. Okay, see,
Yes,
listen,
indeed.
since Ready
Yes.
to Love likes to throw
Think of this as the
curveballs,
final curveball of the season.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
and we're actually going to turn this into a game for the viewers. Okay, so listen,
Goody,
it's
goody, goody,
Saturday.
goody.
We're going to have some fun with this. All right, so listen, curveball is throughout today's panel. If you hear the word
Mm-hmm.
combative or combat,
Oh, come
combat, whatever,
on. Come.
you have to take
I,
a drink.
I have a little, I have
Now,
a
whether
little
listen,
drinky.
whether
So
it's water, tea,
let me get myself together. Hang on.
it could be water, it could
Just,
be tea, it could be alcohol, whatever you want. But if you hear the word, you have to take a drink. So y'all know I like to puff, so I will be, taking a
Oh
puff as well.
man.
But listen, we are going to have
All
some fun with this
right.
today because
Yes, indeed.
let's go, let's go. Look at Ucha's face. Ucha's just like,
With that being said, and
I'm
away we
ambushed.
go, my friends. Away we go.
I'm ambushed. I feel ambushed right now. Like I'm out of loop about what's happening right now.
listen,
It's a little funny. It's a little funny.
we are not promoting alcohol. Listen, drink water, juice, whatever you want.
It's very inclusive for everybody.
Right,
Very
we are
inclusive.
including everyone. So let's
All
go.
right.
All right, let's
Since we
do
are
it.
drinking, I have nothing with me, so let's just go. So for the love of me, I
Uh huh.
just don't understand. Well, no, to make this thing systematic, we're going to talk about Murray and his various connections, then
Sure.
jump into Aries and Phil's situation, then go into Janelle's situation. Because I feel like
Okay.
Janelle's situation does not really have anything like it's like we've had the same show over and over, like it's now
Sure.
boring actually. So let's start off with Maury.
Hmm.
Now, someone needs to tell me, like, at this point, we call in Africa Juju. At this point, I think he has some sort of powers because I don't understand for the love of me how this dude made it to the finale with two women begging for
Yeah.
him. Someone needs to explain. Like, I was watching the episode, seeing these two beautiful women. They looked absolutely gorgeous this episode. Doing so much because I can bet you none of them like
You know.
What-
No, go ahead, Gigi. I'll come right
No,
after
you
you.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Because when he said I have two connections, I'm like, sir, really? I mean, we know that this is the finale, so you have to be inclusive of everybody. This is like the final day of summer camp, and everybody get in for the photo. You don't want anybody to be left out. But honestly, I felt like he should have went with Kat. I'm gonna tell you why. Because to me, Katarina's, meeting did not feel combative. I'm sorry, I just gotta get this. Okay. It did not feel that to me. Because if you notice in that meeting, it started off, with the walls up, but as the date, began with the cousin, it was very playful. And one of the biggest parts of it was parenting, right? Because Katarina was a stepmom. And, because I said we're not doing that. But the child is 10 years old, so they do have some mobility. And one of the biggest parts that the cousin was kind of taken aback was, how much control do you have of the situation? And when Marie said that he had control, Karina understood that it was about the ex-wife. And honestly, I have to say to Marie, I'm proud of him for saying no. If I choose her, I am choosing her. No one dictates my happiness to me. And then it was a cute moment of like, can you stand up? And then can you stand up? It's like, I can climb trees and there's some branches to climb over here. I thought that was so, there was such a like there. And then we get to combat Jessica. Okay.
No, you
Second
know
step.
what?
Second
I
step.
will not agree.
Second
I have the
step.
opposite. I don't
Second
agree. I
step.
don't agree.
Hold on,
I don't
I'm gonna
agree.
say this. Hold on,
For
let's
me,
just start with Kat and him. I don't feel like Kat really had the connection with him anyway. It was still all who honestly with Marie, period, because I didn't really see the connection he even had with Jessica. Like I feel like it was one of those
Facts.
where he was just like trying to stay there to the end. And I agree with that. He's got some type of African juju on him or something, honey, because it's like,
Hmm.
what did you have?
Right.
And I'm gonna say it on this one. No, I think it was when he was sitting with Jessica. Now, I know that there was some talk about some men wearing some, fake weaves, and I could have swore I saw the front lace on Marie. Now, this could not be true. It might be, this could be alleged. I was trying to zoom in. I couldn't find the zoom to get it, but I don't know if they were talking about Marie was the one that was wearing the hair pieces, but it
Lord
is what
help.
it is. But I still don't see the connection. Now, even though Kat, okay, if it
I
came to
don't
it where Kat
agree.
really had a connection, I feel like Kat would be more, she's more aligned with Marie and kind of where his life is at, not Jessica,
I'm
honestly.
sorry. I don't
Absolutely.
agree.
Because
Like,
honestly,
what
with
are you
Jessica,
guys
it felt like
watching?
a
No,
with,
no, no. That
with
makes
Jessica, it felt like
absolutely
a
no
business meeting. I'm
sense. I'm
sorry.
sorry. That
It
makes
was a business
absolutely
meeting
no
with Jessica.
sense.
I'm
Like, what are
sorry.
you guys watching? It's a lie. Let's start off from his meeting. You know what? For this, I think I'll actually play the clip because it feels like you guys have forgotten exactly what happened. I'm going to play the clip
Go
for you
ahead.
guys
Go
to
ahead, play it.
remind you guys because, like, come on, please. Let's not do this. I
Listen, we're
don't
not
even
trying to
care
combat what you're
to
saying.
argue with you
See, you
guys
know,
today. No.
I've been missing. Girl, do I need a cocktail, please? Of course we do. Garcon. I think she can definitely help me see things that are positive or point out red flags
okay.
and tell me everything I need to know. You'll be meeting Marie today, my strongest connection in this process.
Okay. Anything concerning that I should know?
So you know, in my previous relationship, I was stepmama,
We're not
girlfriend.
doing kids.
Oh, so okay. He has one.
Oh, you're too cute to be a stepmom.
Oh,
Please. If someone in her life knows that she's not a kid kind of person, because I realize that every single time they ask Katerina questions pertaining to will you have kids, do you want kids, she's always way more comfortable not having kids. So she comes across as the kind of person that do not really like kids, like me. I'm sorry, it's a red flag. I don't like
I
Honestly,
can,
kids.
I
I
say
can,
that
I
more
can,
so for
I
Janelle.
can,
But if somebody
I can,
around you that
right.
you are bringing to TV states in front of TV, you are too cute to be a stepmom. Come on,
I
please.
can agree and disagree with you because at the end of the day, if Kat did not want that, she would not bring Marie to meet her cousin. Because
Really? They
I think
don't
that should
like each
no,
other. I'm sorry.
I
What do you see that can, like, tell me one thing that can quantify to show you that, oh,
I'm
Catalina likes
I'm
Maurice?
just being honest with you.
Hold on, I said
Give me
that.
what? I need facts.
Wait,
At
I
least
no,
said that,
relationship
she
levels,
doesn't really
and
like
your
him. But if
cousin
there's a
who you claim
connection,
knows you so much tells
but
you
here's
that
the
you're too
thing,
cute to be a
but
stepmom, and she
but
already
see
had
here's the
like a
thing.
previous situation where she did not like
Right.
being a stepmom. Come on, this is
But
already
here's
a
the thing
red
though.
flag.
Who is the contestant on Ray Love? Is it her cousin or is it Kat? Because if Kat did not want that decision to be made, she would not be this far with Marie.
Shut
She just
up,
okay, hold
wouldn't.
on. Wait a
and
minute.
I'll tell you
I'm
who
gonna say
you
it with
are.
because I just said I feel like it's a whole competition thing. She does not really like Marie like that. I did say that, but I said when it comes to alignment, if she really did like him, I feel like she would be kind of like more aligned in a way. Now, when it comes to her
Absolutely.
not wanting kids, like I feel like honestly. I feel like
Unprovoked
Kat is the
honesty.
type of person that if she did find the right one and if things were going right, she would change her frame of mind of possibly
Absolutely.
wanting kids. Like
Yeah.
I feel like
I'm
she
sorry,
could actually
no.
do it.
I
You don't
know
think so?
people
People have
have
changed their
changed.
minds before. We've
I'm
done this
talking
on this man
about,
plenty of times.
come on. If you say the people around you know you and exactly her thoughts are yours, I'm going to infer that what her cousin is speaking are like her real thoughts. Because obviously she had already like giving her cousin like some prep talk before they got there. Please, all
Right.
those false introduction that, oh, you're meeting Marie, as if she doesn't already know. All those things are for TV. So her cousin knows all the details to the D. So for her to come on TV and be comfortable enough to be fake about the whole child issue, because immediately in narrations you expect, oh, you're teaching to be a stepmom, but immediately he comes on TV, you're like, oh, you have a kid, and then she moved away to start talking about, oh, this sorry, what's the name, the mother of the child, or why you
Right.
Right.
guys too close. She had a problem with every single thing. She even had
Yeah.
a problem with the co-parenting. We always advocate for good co-parenting. She has a problem, and sorry, that's a red flag for you not to
That's true.
want the guy she's dating to
Very
have
true.
an active co-parenting situation with the mother. And we know that definitely the mother is no longer in the picture. Come on.
And also,
Yeah,
but
I
also too,
agree with that one.
I do agree with that absolutely. Ucha, but I will say I think that the cousin was a little bit hard on Marie because at the end of the day, that's family, right? But also too, you are your own person outside of your family, and at the end of it. She did say that, I could see something with y'all, but she also had her reservations still. I don't feel like that was a bad date. I don't feel that that was really
I
bad.
didn't
It
say it
at
was a
least it
bad
felt
date.
genuine. At least it felt
Actually,
But
genuine.
guys,
Like I
honestly,
said,
I
you
felt like
will
the
see
cousin
in the
was more so doing an interview. Like that was the more of
yep,
like the business thing. Like it, she was, yeah, that was more of a
yeah,
business deal instead of like, hey, I'm trying to meet you, trying to see what's going on and like where you can be. Because
exactly.
even the cousin was combating everything that was being said
You know
when
what?
Marie was saying when Marie was like, he had the dual citizenship, he wants to go out of the country,
Mm-hmm.
he wants all things like that. And she was like, no, she's not leaving. Like, you're not going anywhere. Like, the cousin was, you know,
Very,
combating
very,
everything.
very mama
she
bear,
was
very territorial.
somehow, because that's what she's supposed to do. Like, as much as I'm bashing her about the whole child issue, I have to give her like a thumbs up. I think this was like the best meet the family person because she was honest. Every
Agreed.
other person just went there doing nothing and will not like let you doing their job. But I think, as I said, she was being a hypocrite in everything. Because if you guys want me to play the whole clip, I will. She was being a very big hypocrite. She have just been honest. All the whole, oh, are you going to another country? Are you doing this? Are you lying this? Everything, like the base issue was that she was not just happy about the whole co-parenting issue. Or do you want me to
No,
play the
it was
clip?
her
Let me like
trying to
reboot you
stay
guys
there.
memory.
She was trying to stay there. She was trying to say whatever it was to keep her in the position she was. That was
But
the
that
whole
was
thing.
not a
And I
problem.
did feel that way. Like she was agreeing with, yeah, I want to do that because her cousin seemed shocked when like, he
Mm-hmm.
was, when she was asking questions and Marie's like, well, we've had these conversations. And she was like, what? Like, it was a shock to her. But still, at the end of the day, it is Katarina's choice on what it is that she wants. But honestly,
Absolutely.
in order for you to be finding love, you need to be honest throughout the whole entire process. So
Yep.
if kids are off the table, let it be known kids are off the table. I don't mind being, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, step parent where I know I can see them for a little bit, but they go back to their mama at the end of the day, then that's fine. Do you if that's what you want. But
And then
also,
not
if you know that that's the life you don't want to live, say it because you're stringing along someone who actually
yeah,
can't change the fact
absolutely.
that they're a parent.
Thank
And then not
you.
to mention too, if we can, and then not to mention too, if we do remember the cousin date, which the cousin liked, Kat more than Jessica.
They were
She said that
still
in so many words. Where hang on, just follow me here. When the question was asked, Kat, would you like kids? Well, I'm cool if I have them. I'm cool if I don't. She did say that. So technically, it
she
really
goes with the
wasn't,
flow.
and that's what Marie was cool with.
Oh
Marie's a
my
go with the flow
god.
type of dude. He said that.
Should I play the entire tape for you guys? Because it feels like, let me play, because it seems like you guys have forgotten exactly what was said.
Did that not happen on the last episode?
Dorian has like a 10-year-old,
Lord
and
hell.
him and mother of his child have a really good relationship.
How good is the relationship?
Apparently, they co-parent very well. And
How well?
well enough that the kids are taken care of.
Is she getting taken care of too?
Oh, so these are questions.
We'll find out.
I brought the perfect person for the job.
Of course, because I'm trying to go to a wedding, girl. Like,
That's
I got
right.
outfits. Like, come on.
I get to meet Katarina's cousin. I'm wondering how this is gonna go, but I'm also confident.
How you doing, Mario? How you doing?
I am in a tough situation now because I have two connections, Jessica and Katarina. They both are genuinely great women. So today
No,
I
you
want
don't.
to see what type of family these cat have. Meeting her family is going to tell me a lot more about
He
Katarina.
don't have two
and who she is
connections.
to the core.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh, about me. Well, I'm
I wanna know the
Katarina's
family.
cousin. We're like two peas in a pod.
We
Like,
really are.
we're like, she completes me.
Yeah, that's
So,
cool.
yeah, so I'm really like excited that Katarina's dating
Yeah.
and I want to see her in love. I would love to know more about you. Like, have you been living in Dallas your whole life?
Born and raised.
Do you see yourself leaving Dallas?
I
anytime?
really do.
Really?
I kind of have an exit strategy to go like abroad.
Abroad,
We're talking about
abroad.
out of the country. Yeah.
So, how does Katarina
Yeah.
fit into that?
We had this conversation. She said she liked to travel. So, if you want to travel. We're talking about moving out of the country,
I'm like completely shocked right now.
I'm already working dual citizenship in Ghana and Sierra Leone.
You should not even hide that.
Because
Do
your
you see
cousin doesn't
yourself
tell you
moving?
everything.
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
I feel like I would definitely have to come back and forth though. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You want her to stay, huh?
Well,
See, her
she is
cousin
going
is
to
like-
stay, but like, I'm just thinking about like how it's going to be for you by yourself, you know?
Well, I have a son too.
Oh,
So that
that's
has,
amazing.
yeah, that has
Okay,
definitely
God
been a
bless.
conversation. By the time he turns 12, he's coming with me full time anyway.
You're
you know.
going to have full custody of your son,
Yeah.
and the
Rites of passage, baby. Gotta
she
make him a
agrees
man.
with that?
Oh yeah. I have the green light. We do equal sharing. We do everything together as far as doctor's visits, schools,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
kind of like you guys are still together a little bit, no?
nah. Mm-mm.
If you do everything together,
Everything, but it's the child though. Everything
Yeah.
is connected through him. We literally have been split for 7 years.
so let's say Katarina comes over and your son's like, I don't like her vibe. What do you do with that information?
Well, first off, this is a black house, so you're not grown, So I run this, I pay the bills.
I
One
respect
thing
you for that,
sure, two
though.
things for certain, we're gonna have some respect in this house.
What if his mom says, like, I don't like
Agreed,
her vibe
agreed.
and I don't want our child around her?
I know it's coming off crazy, but I really do have that control. Like I don't have them
So
problems.
you think you control your child's mother in some
Thank-
type of way?
I know, like,
I would never
Yes.
fly with Katarina.
yeah.
When he said he had control over his home, I can see that kind of bothered my cousin, and she didn't like the word control. For me, it came off they have boundaries. I didn't feel a type of way about it.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Lord Jesus, control and
Can you
combative.
stand up?
Lord hell.
You want me to stand up?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Just stand up.
that's different. Most of them they ask you to do something
Can
else.
you stand up?
She wants to
It's
see
the
how
height
the height
difference. Yeah.
difference.
Tell her to
So
take off her
Has
shoes.
he seen you stand up?
Yeah.
Our whole family's tall.
Yeah, we're
Giants,
all
yeah.
super tall.
Does this make you feel uncomfortable?
I can climb trees. I got good balance, baby.
Monica and I are some tall girls, and I think she just wanted to see if she could ruffle Marie at all.
But what if she want to climb a tree?
Right, right.
There's a tree to climb. We definitely got plenty of branches over here.
Yeah.
He wasn't ruffled, so he
Aha! Yes, sir.
So you see, she didn't come there for. She came to rustle some feathers. I have to give it to her. She did well as an interviewer because honestly, I think all the girls, all their family members, they came here to actually check the men. I have to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
The men's family
Yeah,
members
they did.
were really joking around with the whole thing. For me, once
Yeah.
you have an issue with co-parenting and you do not want like a positive co-parenting, I'm of the opinion that I want you to have a positive co-parenting situation because to be honest, I'm not really a kids person, so I don't want to be the one to be like taking care of the kids all the time. Like if you have other kids,
Right.
I will make if you don't have like a positive co-parenting with you, I'm not going to date you because I'm not going to be your kid's mama. You get they have like parents.
Mm-hmm.
Do not make me their main parent because regardless of how you want to do it, kids will always want their biological parents over.
That's facts. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that is
No, I thought
definitely
that.
true. And
Yeah.
honestly, I respect Marie and in his responses to the
Thank
questions
you. Someone that sees that
that was
Katrina is
going.
preaching.
Like, and see, and like, Kat is reaching that point to where, like, listen here, you got to make a decision on if you want it or not. But you cannot string along someone who has kids. If that's not something you
Right.
want or where you are in your life, the best thing to do is to move on, because there
Yep.
are times where kids do get attached to the step parent. And it could be because they
Yes,
might
they
not
do.
have that situation, that loving situation is not really giving them the love that's needed. So they do
Mm-hmm.
hold on and they try to find that love somewhere. So if you
Mm-hmm.
are incapable of giving it to that child, or even accepting that man having a positive co-parenting relationship, and be able to accept that child, then you need to move on and not even consider or pretend that you
Mm-hmm.
actually have a connection, or you're even thinking about having a relationship, because it's false. And that's
Yeah.
going to
No.
hurt that's going to hurt the child and the man more.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And you know what? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I do think that at the end of the day, with this conversation, I think the cousin learned a lot about her own cousin.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really think about it, that travel, no, I'm being real. Because when she said she was shot, that she wanted to travel the country, you don't know everything about your cousin or family member all the time. So what might ended up happening was like, okay, maybe when she was single, maybe she felt a certain way, but because of this process and because she's been in the process, she's been open to evolving that process because she may have found a person. And that's happened to everybody. Everybody, and my mom has always said this, don't ever say what you will not do. Just always be open to what can be. And I think that's what happened here. To me, this looked like, actually, if I was on it, I would be laughing right along with them. Because with Jessica, it sounded like a business meeting. Hello, how are you? Can you make time for
It's a
things?
lie.
Can you turn
I'm
things in on time?
sorry.
Yes or no?
And hold on, and I
I'm
never said that Cat.
sorry.
Hold on, let me say this. I never said Cat was a fit. I said if she was actually real about her wanting to be with Marie or
I'm
be a fit,
responding to
I feel
Braylon.
like,
Braylon
as far as
said
like
she's a
spiritually
better
being
fit
aligned,
than
like the
Jessica.
spiritual alignment, you know what I'm saying, and kind of certain things of what they want is kind of more in alignment. Now, like I said, and I will repeat it, I don't feel like any of them were real or ready for love, or
Oh,
ready
agreed.
to love, at least not each other.
Right.
I feel like it was all a game. It was all on who could stay there the longest and who was going to last at the end of the day. That's all it was.
Yeah.
So,
I don't
yeah, no,
agree
I didn't
about
say that they're,
Katrina.
you know,
You guys know that Katrina is my
but I
girl,
do
right?
like Cat, but I ain't gonna say I like Cat. I ain't gonna lie now.
I
I
love
ain't
Same.
gonna act like I
Katrina.
don't like her. I
I
do.
love Lee, but I think we need to be honest. She was there to find love, but I think she realized earlier that, oh my god, there is actually no love here. So she's like, I
Yeah,
might as well just stay. I will not blame her for trying to look for a connection here and there, because I spoke to her on IG. She, in the comment section, was like, she was actually looking for a connection. So I actually do not blame her for trying to pursue more away. But what we're not going to do is say that they're a good fit, because every single answer she gave was almost like, I will accommodate, I will accommodate, I will accommodate all Moira's excesses.
Hmm.
Nothing about her. And that
yeah,
is
Now,
how the
now I think that
situation with
that's a very
Moira
fair point.
comes
yeah.
across to every other person. He wants to be accommodated every single time. And it's not like it's a bad thing. I think it's like a subconscious thing. But
I think
oh
what
well,
you're
I don't
saying,
even also
Solana.
think his situation with what's her name, Jessica, also makes sense, because it just felt like the family member of Jessica was not really like, I think she did not do a good job. She was too surface. Oh my god, oh my god. Oh, I feel like you guys are in love, just like muffins. Muffin and muffins,
It's
muffin.
almost like after not like, oh my God, I haven't seen you with somebody in so long. So right now I'm just gonna latch onto him because you actually have a date.
Hmm.
Like, we gonna try to keep you in this as long as possible. But no,
Right.
I
And
don't
so,
see
And
the
Solana,
connection with Jessica and Marie. Now, yeah, I know that they've had a longer running when
right?
it comes to it, but that doesn't mean that their connection is I love you strong.
No,
Or you
agree.
know what I'm saying, let's try to
Mhm.
make this work.
No, for sure. And Salon, you brought up a very good point that in a relationship, you don't want to be so accommodating that you forget your standards and requirements. Now, that I also do agree with. And let me make a very big clarification. I'm only judging what they're giving us for 60 minutes. So, based on the conversations that I've seen and based on the energy of what they showcase to us, to me, based on the show, not after the show because we don't know, but based on what I've seen, I feel that it should have been Kat chosen, not Jessica, because it seemed like there was a lot. And Maria even said that Kat seems like a lighter spirit. We connect on spirituality, and to me as a dude, yeah, I could have somebody who loves me, but if we're not compatible with the things that I want to wake up with her to every day, then there's no point in being together. And that's just real talk.
Right. And I
Yeah.
agree with you, review. I absolutely there's no chemistry with Marie and
Maria
Jessica. It
doesn't
was
have
a
chemistry
force
with
to work.
anybody.
No, it was all to see who can last to the very end.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to force these connections, or I'm going to, just like Jessica said, pretend when she was, talking about Chris, she was done pretending. I'm going to pretend that this is where I want to be and what I want to do when it's really not. Just to say that you made it to the end.
You know
I
what? I
mean, they
feel
all
like
made it to the end,
this
to
is
some
true. I,
extent.
I I I will say to the production, y'all may need a Ray to Love dictionary of trigger words for future cast members, and control and combative should be the first two words because there's going to be more trigger words throughout the future seasons of Ray to Love. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But what did you guys think about the speech? Oh, yes, this is where we have to talk about editing. Sorry, sorry. We have to talk about editing. Because why did they cut out the Katerina scene where he rejected Katerina? Should I show you that there was a scene like that? Let's look at the
Mhm.
preview for the episode. Where's the preview? Let me bring up the screen of the Instagram.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was
like,
wondering that
okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're now down to our final couples.
Give me a
Today,
second.
these singles will put their hearts on the line.
Has it come up? Or it's still loading?
We have our friendship, and we're trying to figure out if there's more than that.
I want someone to be my best friend.
Okay.
In the grand scheme, I'm doing this to find a wife. In order to gain what they can, we're now down to our final couples. Today, these singles will put their hearts on the line.
We have our friendship, and we're trying to figure out if there's more than that.
I want someone to be my best friend.
Okay.
In the grand scheme, I'm doing this to find a wife. In order to gain what they can, we're now down to our final couples. Today, these singles will put their hearts on the line.
We have our friendship, and we're trying to figure out if there's more than that.
I want someone to be my best friend.
I don't know what's wrong
In the
with
grand scheme,
Instagram.
I'm doing this to find a wife. In order to gain,
Let me go to another page because I showed. Oh my god, there was a place where all of them were walking, where they showed Katerina. I don't know why that particular video keeps repeating itself. Katerina was the first person walking, and then they didn't show any other person. They didn't show. Oh, I think this is it.
So I set up
I
meeting up
will
with
say
Oh,
Tommy.
I
this.
think they've removed the
Mhm.
video then. Oh shit. Is this it?
And
down
and
to
I
they
our
will
do
final
say
that.
this.
couples.
Marie
Today,
was looking
these
very
singles will
great.
put their hearts on the line.
We have our
Yes, she was
friendship,
in
and we're trying to
black.
figure out if there's
Jessica
more
was
than
in
that.
black.
I want someone to be my best friend.
Okay.
In the grand scheme, I'm doing this to find a wife. In order to gain what they came here for, true love.
This was
They agreed to meet
Jessica.
at a special place. The only question left unanswered is,
So where was
which of
that
our
scene?
couples are true,
Right.
Where was that
ready to
scene?
love? Down to our
Yeah.
final.
Where was that scene?
I, di-
I knew
I
I
didn't
was not
I didn't
like.
see it. I didn't see it as a digital exclusive. Now I will say this: Marie was looking very grand in his outfit. He was not grand as Marie making that decision with Jessica. I'm just that
I
was a
mean, he should have
very
actually given his suit to Quentin because he
They
was
were
looking a
all in
little
black,
tight
and I
in
thought
that
that
suit.
Yeah, they were both in black, and I did see that. So I was wondering that too. Like, okay, so
So I was like,
why didn't they show him rejecting Kat? Like, why did it just
but
go
I
straight to
think
okay, I
Right.
choose Jessica?
reviews. Remember, there was a season, I think 2 seasons back, where they dumped one girl, and it was like a whole backlash because it was almost like that was Kayla. It was almost like she was begging for the dude and everything. So it was a very horrible thing. So I think they just did that to like waylay people to think maybe, oh, you chose Katrina, and then all of a sudden it was like Jessica. Because I was never shocked when I saw Jessica was the one who was picked. So they probably did it to protect Katrina's image, and probably the scene was quite embarrassing.
Right, or it could have been the fact. I mean, maybe not, but could have been that Marie really picked Katarina, but she chose herself. So he's like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Jessica then, so we can make this look good.
But that would have been
Because
more
I don't know,
prime
Cat letting
TV.
him. Yeah.
Because in the preview, Kat was not here for none of the energy, none.
Mm-mm. So I and then the whole speech with him and Jessica, it definitely seemed staged.
Smooth.
It was
You know,
definitely.
All the
you know,
I don't
speeches.
really have nothing to say about you. I don't know what I really like about you, but you know, and I'm gonna go ahead and choose you. Let's
you
do it.
know, listen, in the words of Casey and JoJo, all of my life I've been waiting for somebody like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. I just want you to know, since you came into my life has not been the same. And when we came at an impasse about religion, we both said hallelujah to each other as people and not being strongholds about how we feel. I want you to know my life has been changed because of you.
I would
Jesus.
reject you so fast. Before you even go like halfway of that speech, I would be like, nah, I choose me.
Straight rejection. No, no, I have to choose me.
You
After
know
all
what?
that, I'm gonna choose.
You know what? I wasn't even being combative, but I'm gonna drink a victory sip because that was a good damn speech. That was a good damn speech I did. Okay, listen,
But I have to say,
Uh,
Jessica looked stunning.
man.
Even Maria, I was like, ooh, very
yeah,
good. Quentin
those
was a
flowers
very
were
big
beautiful. Honestly,
disappointment,
I was
but we'll
like,
get to
okay.
that
Yep.
later. Quentin and Phil. I was like, you wear a shirt to come. Oh, I don't want to talk about it.
Is it me or both of their eyes look closed in this picture?
Well, I don't want to
Like,
look at you because I really don't want to.
like I'm not even trying to be funny. It looks like Jessica's eyes is closed, and then Marie's eyes look closed.
He was
I'm not even trying to be funny.
smiling. And her lashes are so long that it makes her eyes look closed.
Right.
Okay.
Oh my
Fully
god.
clothed for
No.
real. Come
No, she can
on.
sell her bathwater by the keg. Stop.
Oh, you know what? Stay tuned. Speaking of branding yourself, you know what?
Oh, shit.
You know, me and Gigi were talking earlier, and you know, we over here are about black excellence, black love, and just blackity black everything. So,
Right.
Jessica, you have a coffee brand. Now, we know that combative is a very triggering word for you. So, what you should do is make a special batch called combative coffee, and
That's
20% of
smart.
the proceeds go to United States veterans and active military. And listen, you own the company, and guess what? And people love to invest in good things. You're welcome.
Hmm. There you go.
So let's
There you
move
go.
on to Phil and Candy.
Humble me, I
Please
can't.
don't
That's what
laugh.
Candy
Come
would have done.
on. So I'm going to
That's what Candy would have done.
I typed because we're going to watch the clip, but I also want to like give a brief um review of like brief rundown. So he meets the mom. They ask him, "Oh, what are your leadership skills?" He
Hmm.
says, "Oh, I would always like to ask for the opinion of my partner." Then they ask, "Oh, are you a Christian?" He said no, he's spiritual. He's more towards the Buddhism kind of practice.
Hmm.
He deals in spirituality, but he's actually open to every religion, so he's not bad with it. And he was
Mhm.
asked to pray. And they asked him, "What makes you happy?" He said,
Stand
most
up
of the
comedy,
time.
child. Stand up comedy.
And they're like, "Okay, what about money and finance?" I was like, "Okay, that's fine." Then the sister asked, "Oh, do your jokes bring you
Like
money?" He
make
was
any
like,
money?
"Oh, most of the
Are
time,
they
but
lucrative? Are
I'm
they
yeah,
lucrative?
are they lucrative?" So like most of the time, but I'm starting over.
And he was
That
so
explained that
serious.
thing. Let's
He
Like
say
really was
I was
serious.
I was cringing. Like I felt so bad because
when
I felt
I was like, oh my
really
God,
bad.
did you see him pat the sweat off his head? Like he knew he was in hot water. And then to
Listen,
make
It's
it
gonna be my
when I
mom
knew,
and my sister best friend. I'm a little anxious because my mom and my sister are
was
not
looking
gonna
good.
hold back at all.
Hello,
How
hello.
y'all
You
doing?
looking fabulous.
Hello, mother.
Hello, daughter.
Honestly, I feel like this is my family, and these are people that if you're in my life, you're gonna be around them. So you need to know if you can handle what they're gonna bring.
Dating is for getting data. So once you get the data, then you analyze and figure out how you're going to apply the data.
Analyze. That's where I'm at now. I'm on the analyzing part.
So is this a strong connection?
This is a strong connection.
There.
Chemistry,
Okay.
From the way my
1,000.
mom
And
was
then also there's a
speaking,
friendship
I
there
knew
because
it
he's
was
been
going
really
to
sweet
end
to me
well.
like throughout this process. His dad also passed about a year
That's
ago.
big.
That's been
Yeah.
helpful because I'm not even at a year yet. He is a good person.
Okay.
Yeah.
People can be good people and then
And
they're
not
not be
good
good
for
for
you.
each other.
Yeah.
That is so
The
true.
only advice is to
Get to meet
the
Aries
guy
It's
family
should
so
today.
just
beautiful.
yep,
Arriving to
open
the
up.
place, I
That's
already
one thing I
have
have to
flowers
say.
picked up.
Lord, when
How
he
y'all
brought
doing?
those
Well, hello,
flowers, I
hello.
knew it was gonna be
I'm missing
bad.
some.
He was being
And then I
judged
see her sister there.
for
I'm like,
outfit,
really
the
could have
way
used a
he
third one.
looks,
Didn't know there would be
stuff
somebody
like
else here. So now I got two people going to throw some questions at me. All right.
What have you heard about me?
No, we're not.
See,
We're not doing none of
right. I
that.
We're going
was like,
straight
damn,
to
mom,
Is
hold
it
on.
good?
This is not
No,
about
it's
you.
great.
It's not about you.
He
It
said
kind of
great.
is.
It's good.
Aries saying this is not about
Yeah, I
you
just
is
want you to
like
know
yes,
making
that
me
was the
congratulations.
wonder.
best
I know
question
Mama need her
ever.
Mama's
time.
good.
Yeah. I know she's perking up.
I know.
Like, mom, why
Yeah.
you got to throw yourself
So
in it?
tell me
Mom, why you embarrassing me in
about
public?
your leadership qualities. What does leadership look like for you in our actual relationship?
I'm going to piggyback off on her. Like, let's talk about this. Let me see what you think about it. Because before I just jump out there and make a decision, I don't want to just be out there making them just for the sake of making them or because I'm the man.
So you want to collaborate?
Got to. She's too smart otherwise.
I thought he had an interesting perspective on decision making because that's what a partnership is. But for my family, that was the worst answer he could have ever given.
Before we proceed, please, what's your honest opinion?
Now,
If someone
first of
asks
all,
me
when
this
he
answer,
brought the
I want to get
flower,
mad.
when he brought the flowers, I knew it was bad. Then the mom was like, "What did you hear about me? That you were kind and Mama needs her shine." And then Aries' mom did a wink. I'm like, "Not you trying to be on, ready to love the golden years as a new edition coming on soon." Okay, listen, Aries' mama don't look too bad either. But then listen, the answer that he gave. Look, production, we're just
Camera
giving you great
brain.
ideas, okay? We're giving you
Oh,
great
goodness.
ideas. Just pick them up. But anyway, but no, when he said the answer, what I honestly thought about it, and that's how my parents roll, right? My dad is very inclusive with my mom. But at the end of the day, he still makes the decision. So I didn't feel like it was bad. I felt like because security and stability is such a big thing with Aries that you should have honed in on. Listen, I make the decision. I'll do all the research. I will put the work in, but I make that decision because she trusts me enough to be with me, and she trusts me enough to be with me. Then that's up to me to execute the responsibility.
I'm sorry, I don't agree. I felt in this
Okay,
particular scene, they were extremely like judgmental.
they were, they were.
They
I will agree
were.
with that.
Yeah, I'll definitely take you
One
on that.
thing
That
I want, that's the wrong answer. Nobody wants a partner that you wake up one morning and he has made a decision. He has made a decision. We move. He has made a decision, we turn into something, we do it. That's not. I'm not going to talk about marriage because I have no idea on it. But
Well,
one thing that struck
I'll
me
say
was
this
that
is it is a partnership.
it was a baseball player, a coach. So he has the. I was just going to say that they are always very authoritative. I cannot
Mm-hmm.
prosper myself under someone that is very authoritative. I
Sure.
just cannot prosper because I always want to have my say. Let me give you
Hmm.
an example. In a story, during my oral exam in medical school, it was for pediatrics. So I met this particular consultant because our exams are always oral. So the consultant asked me a question. My problem is that I have stage fright and I'm always anxious. I finished examining this child, but then the child went into painful distress.
Mm.
And I'm like, damn, my entire exam is fucked up. So I was pressured because they had to treat the child, they had to like take care of me and everything. So I was like, oh my God, what's going on? So the woman kept asking me
Right.
questions and I was like answering. She was like, oh, you do not allow somebody lead you. You are the word, you are too combative. And I'm like,
Oh, there it is.
I didn't even know when I responded to the woman. I didn't even know when I
You
responded to the
thought this was
woman
a game? We're
saying,
playing the game.
I didn't know when I responded to her saying, oh ma, this is an exam. I need to respond to you. I got zero for they score you for how you respond, your
Mm-hmm.
answers and everything. I
Hmm.
got a zero in that. Like it was a very big zero. If not, I would have
Uh,
gotten an A in that exam. But because of that, my score like fell off.
well, one
So
thing that I
when
will say, when it comes to being in a marriage or even in a partnership like that, you want I understand both sides, okay? Because one, I want my man to be
Right.
strong and have leadership qualities to where if maybe there's something that I might not be secure in leading or I don't have the correct answers or I don't feel confident in it, I want my man to at least be able to acknowledge that and say, hey,
Exactly.
you know what? I can pick up where you are lacking in a way and
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. Now,
definitely,
don't be so, to the point to where you feel like your leadership is above me and everything that
Correct.
I say is incorrect or I have no say. That's where we're going to run into some problems
Right.
at. But if we can
I
Yeah.
think that's the
if we
problem.
can
Like
agree, that listen here, you listen to me sometimes as well, I'm going to definitely follow your lead, but please at least take my advice sometimes or
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that I have advice. Acknowledge that, hey, I had something to say. I said something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Acknowledge it. Sometimes it's just the acknowledgement. You don't have to do it, but just acknowledge that I said it.
Right.
Acknowledge that I have an opinion. Acknowledge that I have a brain. And, it's possible that what I'm saying can help.
Exactly.
Hey,
And not to
Anthony.
mention, it's one thing to acknowledge. It's another. Hey, Aries, welcome in, Queen. Good to see you. It's one thing to acknowledge it, but it's another thing to actually take it in consideration as you're making your final decision. Because think about how many times you've said something and they acknowledge you, but they didn't think anything of what you had to say when making the final decision. And I think with this show, even though it is 30, 40 years old, everybody comes into the show with their own manual, right? And
Mhm.
so, this show is called Being Ready to Love. So sometimes you're going to come from different worlds, different points of view and thought in terms of how you believe. But just because that quality may be something you've never had before doesn't mean it's not a worth quality. Because here's the thing, Phil to me, and I'm not saying Aries is a queen as far as I'm concerned. Stay tuned reviews holds her up in a very high regard. I look out for the brothers. Okay, I look out for the brothers very well. But anyway, so I'll put it like this: even though that quality may not be something you have never had, that doesn't mean it's not valid. Because here's the thing: if Phil said I make all the decisions, then guess what? Well, why is he open to black women? And if he said what he said, well, I mean, good God, can he take some responsibility? So he would have been damned if you do, damned if you don't. But at least he was like, you know what? I cannot be in this thing by myself. That's how I took.
Yes. And to be honest, if we're going to list all that people call, like the list of leadership skills that everybody's supposed to have, the list contains communication, negotiation, conflict resolution, adaptability, decision making, critical thinking, problem solving, relationship building, time management, reliability and trust, creativity, strategic approach. Now, people always jump this negotiation and communication and move to decision making, critical thinkers. Because if you cannot have like a balance of relationship and having a balance of communication, communication is where the oh, can we have a discussion on this? What are your thoughts on this? And when you give me your thoughts on this, I will make
Sure.
a decision that will not
Hmm.
affect you. So I don't know if that scene was edited, but the way it came across to me was like, oh, Phil should be able to make decisions because he's the man of the house. And I don't subscribe to that ideology. I want my man to always ask for my opinion because I hate surprises. That's the same way I keep telling everybody I date. Please do not propose to me in public. Do not do surprise proposals. No, 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 don't do that shit. Like I don't survive well in that kind of like scenarios. I may just faint. Like two of us will not like it. So
Right.
might
Yeah.
as well just do ourselves favors. So it just did
And
not
that's
go down for me.
understandable.
Yeah.
That's understandable. And I do feel like, honestly, in a way, it was giving Phil a hard time when it came to the leadership role
Actually,
or the whole, the situation of can like it was almost like no, the man is supposed to have the say in the leadership, and
Yep.
basically you were supposed to just go along with what is being said. But see, me, I'm a factual type person. If I know for a fact what you're saying is not correct, I can't walk with that.
Right.
But what I can do, because we are in a partnership, baby, listen here, we need to come to the understanding that hey, let's find the truth in between what's going on. I
Absolutely.
can't, I can't allow you to lead me off a cliff when I know for a fact that that's where you're leading me to.
Exactly.
So yeah, that whole just because you're a man, you're supposed to have the final say and all the say, and there's no communication with the wife. No, you got me messed up because hell, that's how outside babies happen. That's how, marriages dissolve. That's how a whole lot of shit happens when that
That
communication is
that
just a feeling of,
hmm that is how
mm-mm.
combat. That's how combative circumstances happen. By the way, Aries, we're playing a little game, just a little tiny
okay,
game.
guys,
So,
calm.
whenever the word combat or combative is said, you take a little sip. So we've been playing the game for a while. I think I might have had 7 sips so far. So it's a
Listen,
little game we're playing, just a little.
right.
Stop. Yes, Aries. I'm not saying trust is not like you obviously need to trust whoever you are getting a relationship with and whoever is going to be your leader. But the only way someone can build trust to me, like I'm using my personal self, like putting myself in that situation, the
I
only
love
way
Aries.
I can trust somebody is if the person always asks for my opinion. And recap, yes, I will definitely get surprised. But please do not surprise me to the extent that I act a fool. Because when I'm surprised, I'm telling you, you do not want to know how I'll act. I never act well. So I can't even
Right.
pretend. I like when I react, do not complain. So that I think tell people don't throw things at me. Even when I was in school, like when they are like surprise tests, surprise this. I just do not do well in this kind of like scenarios. I'm not good at
See,
that.
I was always different. That's how I was always different when it came to, being in school and liking, pop up quizzes. And now when it comes to like certain stage, like being public speaking, that was something that I had to work really, really hard on. But stay tuned as the $1 million question is whether it's possible for a man to be an ultimate leader and buy into the happy life, happy wife. Absolutely. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Your man can still be a leader in the household and still communicate with his wife in such a respectful way that even
Absolutely.
if he does not take the advice that she has given, he's still acknowledging that she has that opinion. He's still
Absolutely.
accepting the fact that, hey, I can listen to you and I can accept that you have a mind of your own. You have thoughts and opinions and they do matter. But listen, I take it, I accept it, but I would rather lead us this way because there might be some insight that who knows that he might not be willing to share because sometimes you don't need all the facts.
Mhm.
Sometimes listen, just kind of follow a little bit, just
Yeah.
sometimes, not saying all the time, but it is absolutely possible to have that ultimate role of a leader but still
Hmm.
have the respect of listening to your wife and having that happy life, because
No,
communication,
I agree.
understanding, trust, respect, that is a part of the happy life.
I definitely agree with that.
So,
I mean, at the end of the day, with the happy life, happy wife, I also think that's also in the eye of the beholder and how you hold that within your life. If if every decision you're making, you're sitting down with her and being like, okay, when we talked about this, I remember you saying this, this, and that. And if I'm hearing you right, you said this because of this. And it's almost like a game of tennis. You may not agree with her, but you win this one. But if there's another area that she knows better in, you allow her to lead. So it really is like a tennis match. So I do think it can happen,
yeah.
but it has to happen because they want it to happen. Stay tuned reviews. And by the way, thank you, Aries, for getting some wine and recapping reviews. Thank
Right.
y'all so much for
Thank
playing
you
with
for
us.
playing the game. And also, listen, you got to understand that the conversations might go a little differently because that leadership role, there's times where in that conversation, the man might be, this is what we are going to do, or I made this decision, this is what has to happen, or you know what I'm saying? I'm going to have to make these changes because such and such and such. Then there might also be
Exactly.
times where the conversation is, what do you think about,
Exactly
such
right.
and such and such and such? It doesn't
Exactly
mean
right.
that he doesn't respect you because every single time he's not asking you, but sometimes as a leader you have to take on what's best because sometimes as people, this is just honesty, sometimes we are our worst enemy and sometimes we can hold
Facts.
ourselves back and we can destroy ourselves quicker than the next person can. So sometimes it'll take for another person to be able to look at you and say, or be able to look at a situation and say, hey, I understand that you might have this anxiety, you might have this fear in certain situations. So I'm gonna take the lead on this so that I
Hmm.
can, minimize that energy for you.
Absolutely
So
right.
there's a lot that goes into
Yeah.
that.
Well, we're going into that, but you guys know I'm of the opposite opinion. And yes, recaps. The whole thing reminded me of Russell. Like, I hate being surprised. That's just me. So let's continue the clip.
You go to church?
I don't.
You believe in God?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, my practices are closest to Buddhism.
Buddhism.
Correct. It's a lot of self-management, and it works great for me.
We're Christian based.
Right. Absolutely.
So how would that work?
Looked like her mom was taken aback, like, oh, well, if you don't love Jesus, like I felt that coming. I don't specifically subscribe to a particular religion at all.
Okay.
So I'm open to things from a Christian standpoint as well. I think our first date, I prayed over the food.
Okay, so you don't have a problem praying now?
I don't.
Okay, let's go. We love men and we love forming the league.
Thank you, Father God, for this wonderful fellowship of food we're about to
This scene
receive.
was
I just knew there was
brutal.
going to be another
Sorry,
knock
when the
on me.
lady would pray,
Nothing's good enough. I could pray over
I
the food or
busted
at the
out
table.
laughing. I'm
What
like,
difference does it
now
make?
you
In
guys
the Lord's name, amen.
are
Amen.
In
kidding
Jesus' name,
me.
amen.
I didn't say in Jesus' name. I know where people come
Look,
from with this.
that made me die.
So,
I'm
what makes you
sorry.
happy?
I
Plenty of
laughed
things. I've
so
done stand-up
hard.
comedy, so I'm not shy to talk in front of
Oh,
people.
Lord.
I got a big sense of humor, so I need somebody who's the joke.
What about your financial stability?
Are those jokes financially lucrative for you?
Most of the time, they're not when you first get back rolling.
So you starting over?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have not performed in a long time.
Okay.
I needed a bigger glass. I was like, let me just drink this wine because this is going downhill fast.
I gotta go see.
Well,
I
we
took that big
appreciate you not being combative in that moment.
The facts. Thank you.
That particular scene just
That was good. That was very good.
Good one. Okay. All right.
That was a good one. I took that big sip for Aries because she when you're on confessionals, they usually do it two ways. Either after it happened or they'll play back the footage. So because she couldn't drink on camera, I just felt like it was only important to take that sip for Aries. You understand? We help each other over here. That's what we do. Listen.
Hold on. Stay tuned. Now maybe Philip is only a Christian on Sunday through Tuesday. Stop.
Aries, come on up. You know how we do up here. We welcome everybody. Come
Come
on
on,
up.
Aries. We'll drop the link for you.
Listen.
Come on up.
I died. Like why?
I'm sorry though, but when he said in the Lord, in the Lord's name, amen. Your mama said in Jesus' name, I died. I was on
She
the
was being so
She was being so damn petty, but I was here for it though. But you know what though? Here's the thing. I
yeah. Come
feel
on.
like
Yeah,
at
I
the
think we
because
yeah, there you go.
I feel like at the end of the day, he still recognized God because people do say the Lord. So you know.
Aries, they said he's only a Christian on Sunday through Tuesday, so maybe when y'all had the date, it was one of them days, but that date must have been on a Friday.
But you know what though? I appreciate the realness of that because as Aries so articulately stated, these are the people in my life. So if you can't handle them and accept them, you're not going to be able to accept me. And God does not bless combative behavior. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just it.
oh come on, seriously?
I don't want to combat what you just said, but I feel that.
We told y'all it was going to be a good panel today. We told y'all it was going to be a good panel today. Come on up, Aries. We're ready for
Come
you.
on,
We are
Aries.
so
Come
ready
on.
for you. Oh, the Lord.
But to be honest, like, why would you go meet someone's parents and then you're like, I make jokes? And the funny thing is that he's online saying that he has like real jobs. But dude, you could have actually told us what you do. We legit do not know what you do.
Listen, at this point, you could have said that hell, you work for Uber, DoorDash. I don't give a damn.
Yeah,
Something. Listen here,
yeah.
I'm in between jobs right now. I got this, the comedy gigs coming up. But what I do in my meantime is I drive for Uber, and I make this amount of money because some of them drivers make some good money. We ain't gonna
Yes,
lie and
they
say that
do.
some of them don't. Yeah, but hell, you
No,
could be doing
recaps and reviews.
anything
I
with your
just want you to
time.
be responsible. I just want, for sure, recaps and reviews. I just want you to be responsible. Now, Phil, from one brother to another, I'm gonna tell you how you missed out on social capital. What you should have said was, "Hey, listen, you know what? Y'all know that Aries is on Ready to Love. This is the show we own. Nephew Tommy's the host. I personally would like to go on the road with Nephew Tommy and get that bag of learning from him and learning from other people. You should have said that because at that point, if they would have aired it, the Nephew Tommy would have had to say something. I'm just trying to help you. That's all. Listen.
Listen, I'm saying if that's the case, veer the conversation. Okay, listen, I might not tell you what I do at this moment, but I'm gonna tell you what I'm aspiring to do. Listen,
That
this is
part.
what my goal is. I'm gonna try to at least something that I
After
Okay,
do
let
something.
me.
hearing,
I'm gonna say, let me jump up in here. Hold on, y'all.
Here,
Hey, Queen, good to hear you.
Good afternoon. How are
Good
hello.
y'all?
afternoon.
I'm
We're
glad I caught
good.
y'all. Okay. So let me just clear this up because it's a lot of. It's just so much going on. Phil has a job. I never once, if y'all actually watched the show, I never brought his finances up ever. Not once. I never said he was broke. I never said he didn't have a job.
Very true.
I said
He was unstable. And hold on, my audio.
You're good.
Hold
We're
on,
right
wait.
here.
Let me. Okay, my AirPods was like duplicating. Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
It was instability because, and why I was saying that was based on things that we were talking about off camera. Okay. So comedy
Okay.
was one of the things, but here was the real thing. It was mainly because, number one, we get to talking about jobs on camera. I'm very sensitive to that because let's just say, for instance, someone says they don't like their job. They're not going to want to say that on camera, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Your coworker might be watching. You know, if I say I don't like my boss, I'm not going to want to say that on camera, right? So
Exactly right.
I'm paying attention to certain things like that. So just put an asterisk there. Secondly, if you are telling me about 4 things you want to do and none of them are really like connected to each other, I'm kind of what are your goals? What's your vision for?
Mm.
So for instance, for me, I work in tech. I have a podcast to empower women when it comes to things regarding your professional and personal career. I do
Mhm.
speaking engagements for women in tech. I was the president of a women in tech nonprofit. I do a lot of get Black people in tech. I'm working DEI in my job as well. All of my things are aligned. It kind of all is in the same family. There's a part of my purpose, my goal, my calling in life. These are the things that I'm passionate about. So if someone asks me about my goals, those are going to be the things that you'll see the alignment in everything that I'm
Right.
doing, right? So for me with him, I wasn't seeing that with the different things he kept saying he wanted to do. And even the audience can see from the show, you have not really had a track record that showed success in the other ventures that you've done. So of
Right.
course I'm gonna feel
Mhm.
a little like, do you know where you're going? Like I don't want to just we're 40 something years old. I need to know where you're going for me to hitch my wagon to your, you know, to you, right? Like, what are you doing
So
with your life? Like, where are
so
you trying to go?
basically
So that's why I was like,
so
it's kind
basically
of not clear to me.
so basically what I'm hearing you saying is it wasn't so much of the fact that he couldn't hold it down. It was the fact of there was instability with his purpose and how that purpose aligned
Yes,
through
like
the
I never
consistency, correct? Okay.
his
I
amount of
can
money
receive
he
that.
made, none of that was even that wasn't even the topic. I feel like what happened was, and if y'all looking at the last 2 episodes, yes, those confessionals were filmed after the finale. So all that little attitude was you were already in your feelings. So
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
so when I saw
Oh,
last week, I was kind of like, oh, you got a little spicy. I see you, you know, whatever. But I knew he wasn't in good spirits when he went and filmed that because that was the day after we were all in there getting ready to do interviews and he was not in the best mood. So
right.
I gave him grace for that because you were feeling some type of way and I get it. But I was really being sensitive to how he felt because I didn't want to be making him look crazy on TV. Obviously, editing can keep putting the same thing about me saying stability 50 times. I wasn't really bringing it up that many times. It was mainly like, help me understand. Like, you're still not clarifying it. Even when we get on camera, it's like you're still kind of dancing around it and not.
Mhm.
Mm.
I think, I don't know if it was him in the beginning trying to just tell me, like, look, I got all this stuff that I plan on doing to impress me, but also not really having a goal for those things. Like, so how you gonna do that? Like, how's that gonna look? Like,
Right.
it wasn't making sense to me. So that's where I was just like, do you know where you're going? Like, maybe you need to like take a step back and just focus on grinding, you know, right now. That's fine. Like, there's no judgment. Like, people think I came from money. I didn't. Like, my parents went through reinventing and grow. Like, we started from the bottom, now we're here type, you know, situation. Like, everybody came from
Right.
where I'm at now was not from like silver spoon. I came from the straight hood. My father, yes, he played professional baseball, but that was in the 70s. Like, he went and had to start over. You know, he did that. So I know what that looks like. You know, my stepfather was a blue collar worker. My mom was a stay at home, you know, mom or whatever. So there's a certain
Right.
type of way I look at things. Like, I feel like everybody can reinvent themselves and start over, but it's
Mhm.
also, you need to know what the plan is, you know? Like,
Right.
when my dad did, he
I
was
don't
like, back to school.
I don't think anybody could think that of you. I mean, from how you carried yourself, it seemed like you were very open and understanding and very
Yeah.
sensitive to anybody's journey. So I don't think anybody could think of that of you
Yeah,
at
there
all,
was
for
no
real.
judgment on that, or I wasn't like counting his dollars and want to see his paycheck stubs or none of that stuff. I was like, it wasn't even on that. Like, I at this point in my life, I expect that a lot of people probably won't make as much money as I do. You know what I'm saying? So it's
And
not
we
about
actually noticed that because, like, we know, your situation. You have been married and divorced, so you've been through
Hmm.
certain things. So there's a quality of life that you are not, um, what's the word? You're not willing to compromise on
right.
at
And
this
I think
point.
that
And
that's
at
a
this
life.
point, yeah, go ahead.
It's a life that I created for myself. Like even when I was married, me and my husband made about the same amount of money. We just put all our money in the account and we paid the bills. Like, it wasn't even like we didn't have financial issues. So people talking about my past, I'm like, that I didn't have that.
Mhm.
That wasn't
Right.
what I was talking about. When I talk about loyalty, security, like he started attaching finances to what I was saying. That
Well,
wasn't what I
and
was
I feel like that
saying
was
at
that
all.
was just him trying to combat the fact that
You know
his
what?
career was not where. Okay. That was definitely his way of trying to, kind
Let me
of.
take a sip.
Lord help. Solana.
But when your life is not aligned, and you have, like you said, it's almost like his purpose was not there. He's not truly understanding of where he wants to be. It's almost like he knows what he wants, but he's just not sure of how to get there. I
And I
think that
think,
might be.
yeah, I mean, I think you can want to do more and not really understand exactly what path you might want to take
Sure.
per se. And I get that, but it's like you want to I believe in I don't want to attach myself to someone who doesn't know what their purpose is. Like I need to know
Absolutely.
where you're going before cuz how are you leading without direction? Like there has to be
Absolutely.
something.
Let
So
me
that's
let
all
me
that was for me.
let me ask you this, Aries, and I know you'll be straight up West because you always are. Do you feel that if he would have asked what type of stability, would that have changed anything for you, or did that moment happen off camera? We just didn't see that conversation about stability.
Yeah, he knew what I was talking about.
Mm.
He knew exactly what I was saying. I was getting more irritated because, and again, I love Phil. He's a good person. Like I'm not trying to talk bad about him. And me and him we had worked through all this conversation in depth. So he's a
Sure.
little, whatever. I can understand him feeling away because we're reliving this all over again. But he knew exactly what my issues were. Like there was not,
Mhm.
I think watching the confessionals is very interesting for me because the narrative is definitely going a different way than what we were saying to each other. So it's not that I was not clear. He knew exactly what the issue was.
Hmm.
And even on the part where I was talking about the grieving thing, when I said that I was sensitive, it was the day before my dad's birthday. That's the only reason why I was saying that. I was in a mood
Mm,
Mm.
that day, period. It was
gotcha.
my
Okay.
first time having a birthday, his birthday. So my dad's birthday and mine are a week apart. So that whole week was a rough week for me because that was the first time I was having my birthday and the first time my dad's birthday was coming up.
Right.
That
Well,
since everything.
condolences
So
on your loss.
yes, so
Yes,
thank
indeed.
you. So I was
I,
really
I
like
definitely know
emotional.
how it feels to lose your father. My dad's been gone for a while, but it never, honestly, it just, it's like you kind of get used to it after a moment, but it never really stops hurting as much, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, but
And people are like, time heals everything.
first
It does, but
those
still
first are rough.
sometimes the memories are so
Yes.
fresh, and you have so many good memories that it's just like you can never forget. And sometimes little things, just kind of remind you. But like I said, condolences. We will definitely
Hmm.
keep you in our prayers for your
Absolutely.
healing journey from this moment on, from everything in life that you have going on. And I honestly respect the fact of the conversations that you have had with Phil, because we have seen the openness, and we actually have, honestly, out of everyone, I've said it, that I felt like you and Phil honestly were the ones that were kind of
Yes.
on the track of being ready to love. Like when it really came to a relationship, I could see that. But one thing that I will say with Phil that kind of bothers me is the pretending as if this was the first time this has been said. Like, I feel like with the inconsistency, instability, you've heard this before. You've had this conversation with others before. I don't feel like it just started with you. So at
Correct.
what point are you actually going to fix it so that the conversations become different?
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
there were other conversations in between all of this that were also we were bumping heads on, and that they just didn't show it. That came up a lot of from when his family and I met. They brought up stuff, and I was like, "Well, do I need to be worried about this? Like, let me ask some more about that, or whatever." So there's some stuff that came up that were where I told them, I'm like, look, if you got baby mama drama, that's a deal breaker. I can tell you that right now. I'm not doing it. Sorry. It's not
And,
even
Right.
and I think too, what he may not have realized was, and I think everybody has been in this position where we feel like commitment has to be definite. I need to see something materialize from this process of commitment. But I think the biggest point that he missed, Aries, was the fact that you were still there. Because if you didn't want to talk to him,
right.
there would not be anything developing. There would not be a finale with you two there if you did not want to care.
And I'm gonna tell
So,
you this. When I say security it's like I just wanted reassurance. Like I just wanted to know one of the big things for me is people, I'm not an advocate for strong black women. I ain't trying to be no mule. I'm sorry. That's not fun.
oh
I
Lord,
do
not
a
the helpmate, not the helpmate
but like
conversation from the
I
getaway.
want to be a helpmate. I don't want to be the person. Like I don't want to be the one you're looking to for. Like when he answered that question, it wasn't so much that it was wrong per se. It was like, why is that the first thing you said was, I'm piggybacking off of her. Please don't use that as the first thing. Like, what qualities do
Right.
you have? Like, what about
Whew.
you? How are you? How do
Yeah.
you lead?
Right.
Share with us how you do. Because what I do with guys, sometimes I will if we have a scenario, I'll be like, so what do you think? I want to hear your thoughts first. Don't lean on me first. Like,
Uh-huh.
when do I get to rest and relax and not have to be the one thinking of the answer all the time?
Right.
Main leadership skill is problem solving. Can you solve problems? Can you critical think? Do you have emotional
Right.
intelligence? Do you know when to say, hey, Aries is actually better than this than me? Let me get her advice. I like that. But don't just automatically be like, let me go to you every single
Mhm.
time I need to make a decision. Like, that's annoying. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah. And he actually made that comment where he was, speaking about basically, the going to you, getting the advice, but then he was like,
Mhm.
well, she's strong minded. That would be wrong. And it's like, wait a second, don't use that. Like she's
Yeah.
definitely strong. We know this. But
Mhm.
sometimes even the strong want to rest. The strong want to be weak and vulnerable sometimes. Like nobody wants to be strong every single day.
Absolutely right.
So I understand that, not want to be a strong woman all the time. Like, listen, come on now. You can be
And,
strong in business, you can be strong as a mother, you're strong
mhm.
in different areas. But when it comes to being, having a man or someone who's supposed to be leading you, no, that strength is supposed to wait a second, where's your strength at? What do you bring? Like you said, what do you bring?
And I
Well,
mean, if you really think about it, I mean, I understand how Phil approached it because, this is not, cousins or nieces. This is Mama Bear and Sister Bear with three grown women. You gonna try and make your best impression.
and this is we were the only ones that had like everybody brought their cousins. Like I brought my real
Right.
family. That
And,
lets you know I was
right.
really trying to.
oh,
I wanted
absolutely.
them to be there to like. I'm like I was on butterflies from the beginning of this. Right? People act so unrealistic. Like you meet somebody, it's just like, oh my god, it's so great. You are in that fog, and then we only got 6 weeks of structured time together. So it's like you're trying to be like, okay, how do I pull back these layers?
Right.
I can't go out with him outside of the dates they plan for us. I can't,
Mhm.
only can talk to him on the phone or whatever. Some people, I guess they would probably, I don't know if they did it on our cast, but they were really strict on like, y'all can't be going out, outside of this and all that kind of stuff. So it really wasn't available to us to just be all up in each other's
Right.
face like that all the time. But trying to make sure that you're talking about the important things when you're talking,
Sure.
and that's not as easy as it can seem because it's on TV.
No.
And there were other
And
dates that
and
did of ours that they did not show where we had other conversations, and I did nice stuff for him, like had him over, got all this, stuff for him that I was like showing I pay attention to you, I know what you like this stuff. They didn't show none of that. It made it look like, oh, she
right.
wants somebody to take care of her, pay all her bills. I never said that one time. Like I've been single 10 years. I've been
No.
paying my bills just fine.
And and
Yeah, and
not
I
to
don't know
mention
who's ever
too.
said that because on this panel, I don't think that has been something
No.
that's been said because I
No.
feel like we we've been very fair and I feel honest in our opinions. Now we'll let you know
Mhm.
it's an opinion. We'll let you know whatever's alleged, it's alleged. But you can't take away what we see and what is being shown.
Mhm. Absolutely.
We've honestly seen your status, honestly, and that's why we have questioned it as well as if these people are really your match. Because I believe we've all even said like, hey, her match is not there. She's ready to love, but her match just is not there.
Yeah.
No one there,
Totally
I feel
agree.
like, really had a good match.
And
But
on the back right, Phil did say, I'm looking for someone that does pay attention to me and to the things I like. So he did mention that. And back to the mama bear and sister bear situation that happened. I can understand why he did it because at the end of the day, this is the first time I'm meeting the queens in your life that will become queens in my life. So I want to make sure that I'm reflecting the energy, but also too, and we don't get this because it's fight or flight, and that's probably what he was feeling like. It was fight or flight. That wait a minute, let me breathe for a second. Okay, I am here because she chose me. Let me show them why she chose me. But also too, that's a 50-50 shot because depending on what you say, they may not like it once he gets up from the table, but at least it would have been respected of you stood 10 toes down who you
And
are.
I'm
So
grown. There's no decision in my parents. I'm a very stubborn person. Okay, my mom, she knows. If I don't have to, I don't listen to everything that my mom says. I don't, like no one can convince me to change. If I was 100% on field, wanting that to happen, there's no way that somebody will be able to come and be like, I don't like him. Don't pick him, and I don't pick him. Like that's crazy. Like we're grown out
right.
here. So that's not what happened. That's not how it works. I just really was hoping that he would clarify some
Hmm.
things and like kind of what you said. I obviously like him. I'm gonna tell you, like early on, I was just like, oh yeah, this is looking good. Like it's gonna be good. We talked through some other tough things, but then when we got kind of to those family and friends dates, the way that he was answering questions, I was just like, this is not
yeah.
going well here. Like,
Hmm.
come on, I want you to win. Like I wanted him to look good. So it was never that I was trying to do anything negative. If anything, I was really wanting to protect his feelings. And when we get to the end, even that, what they showed, my response was like my third or fourth response to him. We were going back and forth a little bit at the finale. Like I told him that I was choosing myself, and I said it all in a kind of nice general way because I just didn't want to do that to him. I didn't want to tear no black man down on TV. Like that was not what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
And then he came back after I chose myself and was like, "Yeah, I know you're grieving, so that's why you chose yourself." No, that's not why I chose myself.
So you're saying he became combative.
Mm. Good Lord Jesus.
With a
Mm-mm-mm.
smile, with a smile,
Gigi.
we were both smiling, but it was like, yeah, I get it, you're grieving. I was like, hold on. I said, well, let's
But
be
you know
clear.
what? But
That's
you know
not
what
why.
too? But you know what? To your point, though, there's a difference between me going through things and me choosing decisions as I'm going through
Right.
things.
That's
And
life,
credit
right?
to you
That's
for
life.
that, Aries.
We're going to be going through things
Yeah.
forever.
And
So
I'm
I'm
actually
not
glad
going to.
that you brought up the finale and, when it came to elimination, because I think we were actually getting to that point. So if we can, let's talk about that. Um, Ucha, do you have like any footage from that or any pictures up? Because
Oh,
there's for the finale between her and Phil
oh,
and
okay, I
the
do.
Hmm.
elimination.
Or do you
'Cause
want to ask Ari? Because I didn't know if you want to. I felt like you've been
I'm
wanting to
going
say
to
something
ask,
for
but
a while
that'll
to
be
Ari.
later. Like, you
So
guys.
Come on, ask girl. Just ask.
yes, ask Ucha.
I don't
Say
know
that
about
Phil
you.
is
So
going to
I
be
would say
my mom and my sister best friend. I'm a little anxious because my mom and
sorry.
my sister are not going to hold.
It's the final day of the journey, and I'm walking in with a lot of things in my mind, just looming in my head. It's like swirling around, and I could barely sleep the night before because I'm thinking about time meeting her family, the bike ride, the conversation after that, and now I'm faced with whether or not I am going to choose Aries.
But also, I'm thinking about what he has to offer that's going to match well with me and everything that has come from this relationship during this journey. So it's a lot.
So,
You can't be deep at all.
I'm glad we made it to this day. You know, I think there's some things that
Do we have to watch
are
this?
misunderstood maybe from my regard when it comes to how stable
Aries,
you
like,
think that I
your
am.
sins
And
were
You're
were
it's
being
still kind of
combative.
like a concern of mine that that's a concern because I feel fine. But at the same token, we still get through and have just a beautiful time together and laughing and sharing intimate moments about life and love and grief and all that kind of stuff. And also, aside from the roses, there's a special gift that I had picked out because I know how important.
But also, I'm thinking about what he has to offer that's going to match well with me and everything that has come from this.
Baseball is to the root of your heart and for your father's legacy. And
did
this
he
one has a
ask this
heart
gift
stitched
back? Did he
into it.
collect the gift back?
The baseball was wow, like that really touched me. My dad was a professional baseball player and coach, like that's his sport. And I was just like it kind of got me.
Because I know he's been with you throughout this whole journey, helping guide your decision making, how you communicate. I know you his baby girl, and I want to be able to still be supportive in that journey of the love and the grieving process. So with that, I choose you so that we can continue our journey
He
together.
said that with so much confidence and just
he really did.
Baseball
mm.
is to the root of your heart and for your father's legacy, and this one has a heart stitched into it.
Did you just see? Hold on,
The
Aries. I'm gonna say
baseball
your face
was
when he said, "I choose you." Said, "Oh, baby, but I don't." Oh,
Yeah.
like I seen it in your face, and it's crazy because my husband's sitting there. He said, "Oh, she don't choose him."
Yeah, like I felt so bad.
Not the husband getting reading between the lines of it all. Lord help. Lord help.
And he
By the way,
hasn't watched the show. He just happened to be sitting here as I was watching the episode, and he was just like,
right.
"Oh no, she don't choose him." I said, "Well, damn, if you can
By
see
the
it."
right. By the way, recaps and reviews asked about Buddhism. If Phil practices it, and Ari says he doesn't really practice that. So that goes to the question of like, why, bruh?
So let me go
Like,
back. So on that first, again, me and him used to go to the same church. I didn't know that. Like neither one of us knew we went to the same
what?
church. We have a huge church. It's about 10,000. We got over 10,000 with 4 campuses. So I ain't never seen him a day in my life. But that's how we found out that, when we got to talking about people that we knew, I'm like, how do you know that person? And he was like, we went to college. And I'm like, oh, well, I know them from church because we was in life group. He's like, oh, what church you used to go to? And I'm telling him, he's like, oh, I went there. And I'm like, what? So when we talked about, you know what church I went to, you know where I come from, you know what my beliefs are. We talked about Jesus. We talked about everything. He said that, he started like exploring new spirituality and all this stuff like that. But he don't practice Buddhism. Like he's not a Buddhist. He said his practice were closest to I don't even know what Buddhist.
Why would you even throw that out there, though? Like,
Exactly. If you don't practice it.
But when we get on
I think it
this
was
the thing that
tension.
got me was that on our first date, On our first date, you prayed in Jesus' name. So when you get on a date with my mom, now you can't pray in Jesus' name. Okay. I'm like, of all the times, if you're gonna do it, you know. But hey,
In the Lord's
whatever.
name, in Jesus' name. I felt it over
So,
here. I said, "Yep, in Jesus' name." Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, I think the thing about it is I it was very sweet. The baseball was definitely like, whoa. Like that was a
Yeah.
very nice gesture. I definitely appreciated that. It was very thoughtful. I just think that okay, so somebody does something like that, does that make you change? Like I would be fake. I would be fake to just change because
Right.
he got me a gift, right? Would that show
Hmm.
more that I'm not a genuine person? Like that's not
Facts.
who I am. I'm not gonna just change because it's like thank you, but this is how I
Right.
feel. And I know, like, come on now. I'm not about to just do that.
Right. And you know what? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I think there's a difference between doing the most to get someone and doing it because that's genuinely in your heart. Because guess what? At the end of the day, when he did that, I could tell that geared in my head that this was beyond TV for him. Because to be that intentional, because I mean, he could have just showed up with a card saying, "Hey, you're a home run," but no, he went above and beyond. Um, but
But what it is, I think he just wanted me to pick him and then we start dating
yeah,
afterward, deal with all this stuff later. And I just was like,
right,
no, that's the whole point of the process. Like, why would I do that? And
yes.
then we gonna get to the reunion. We know we gonna be broke up and we gonna be, like I don't
Oh,
see
not broke up like maybe somebody who was combative. Did I say combative? I'm so sorry.
and like I just didn't want to be fake like that. Like I feel like he's like, okay, well let's hurry up and get past all this, and you just pick, we choose each other, and then we'll deal with all that off camera. When the cameras are off, we'll start dating then and dealing with all this. And I just didn't look at it the same way as him. So I get where he's coming from, but also I'm like, well, what's the point of going through all this? That's the whole point is to
Right.
make a decision at this point in the
Hmm.
process. And I do think that he misinterpreted some of my sadness that I was dealing with over the couple of days leading up to me pulling away from him. But it wasn't that. It was just like I was
Right.
with some personal stuff. And then I knew I had to make this decision as well. I wasn't happy to have to make that decision. I wasn't like, oh yeah, I can't wait to go break his heart. Like that was not the case at all. Like I really was going back and forth, about
Right.
what to do on this. But I'm not no spring chicken. I'm not about to just sign up to sign up either.
You want to be on the camera? I see review. You asked what my cat's name was. That was Exy. This is Exy, guys. She just wanted to be on the camera, so thought I put her there. But yeah, Phil Warren, it's the representation that he has given when it comes to all of the family, meeting the family and the friends, just the representation that he gave of himself just kind of showed that maybe he wanted the idea of being in a relationship with you, but honestly, I
Mhm.
don't feel like he was ready or have what it really takes to be the man that you need because
So,
you
babe,
deserve a lot, and I
But I
don't
right.
feel
think
like
he was
Phil was
actually
really that guy.
ready. I think he was ready. I just think he was hiding who he wanted. Like I said last week, most people, when they meet somebody for the first time, they send their representative. So,
Correct. You did say that.
unfortunately, his representative did not reconcile with his real self. Like, yes, we all like try to make ourselves seem better when we meet somebody the first time. But as it went on, it just kept like covering and covering and covering. And honestly, it's like, does he have like one main job and then he does like multiple other side jobs?
He's
Because I saw
he has
him
a
on
main
his,
job. He has a
oh,
main
what's his
job,
main
and he
job?
he has a main job, but he talks about all these other things that he wants to start doing. I think, and I don't know if they're going to show it when we had a reunion, but that was one of the things I was like, it's different if I met you and you had a bunch of side hustles and you was working it and it
Right.
was just all, whatever. You're talking about starting stuff that's
Hmm.
all risky.
Right.
They're all like risky things. It wasn't like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm gonna, I don't know, do public speaking or something. Like it was like stock
And in
market,
this day and age,
or
and with
like
the
that's a risk.
economy, you can't just be starting stuff without having, like you said, you can't just start going somewhere with no direction. Like,
Right.
you can't lead like that. And you said you guys are, in your 40s. Like, come on. You're wanting to start again at being a comedian. Listen, you can start doing whatever you want at any age. I'm not going to discourage anyone from wanting to start doing anything, but at least have a point and a
Right.
purpose and make sure that that's really what you want to do. Because if
And
you
I,
get
Mhm.
into something and you really don't like it, you're not going to put your all into it. And next thing you know, you're finding excuses of why not to do it, and it's failing.
And I'm at the
So
point with my life where I'm on a different side of like in my 20s, I built and did all that with in relationships, right? Like we started from the bottom, don't have a lot, doing this. I did all that. Like in my 40s, I'm like, okay, well, hopefully you already did all that, and like we could go relax and you
Right.
know we're on the other side of our careers. We're more established. We got things going on that we can actually go have a good time and enjoy each other. But if you're talking about starting a bunch of risky stuff, that's time away. That is not,
Right.
like my sister said, lucrative, but also just time, that you're gonna be doing four different things. Like that's a lot. It's a lot. So that's basically where I was at. I'm like, I don't feel like you really understand where you want to go, and that's cool. I just have a right to decide whether I want to be a part of that, and I'm not at that
Absolutely
stage in
right.
my life where I want to start there with someone. I would like to actually be in a place where someone is more established to where they can let me learn something from somebody. Where I don't want to be the one always being the stable one. I want to be the one that can
right,
make some connections for me to go grow my business, or
Absolutely right.
somebody that can expose me to some new stuff and whatever. Like I
right.
don't feel like I have to be the person that is leading the
And
situation.
I said this before. Boys and girls want spontaneity. Men and women want security. It's not that you can't be spontaneous. They just want to see you be able to handle your ish. And there's different levels to love. So for example, and I'm just using this as an example, if me and Aries were together, right, and let's just say I was out in Vegas. No, it's just that, follow me here, because at the end of the day, men and women all have problems in their lives. When do you ever get a solution to come into your life? Few and far in between. But if I'm out in Las Vegas and I know a potential client that Aries has been wanting to talk to, me being her man, then that's okay. Solution mode. And the way that you really are the best partner is not when you're around them, but it's when you're not around them. Because if you're thinking about them when you're not around them and you're creating that stability to care about them, that will reflect in your relationship when you are around them.
I agree. And I'll say this, I'm a good leader. Okay. Like I have very strong leadership skills. I'm not gonna shy away from that. And I can, if somebody's not moving, I'm gonna step in and start thinking of solutions. I'm gonna like that's literally how my brain works. So it's not hard for me to jump in and want to like solve the situation. So when I'm dealing with people, I try to pull that back and allow the man to take those steps. And there are certain personality types that will take that lead and roll with it, right? Or they'll be like, I got this, babe. Sit down. I got it. You know what I mean? Let me
Mhm.
handle this. That's what I need in my life right now. I
Right.
don't need someone that's looking for me to be the problem solver. I'm not saying that that's what Phil is doing. However, I just know, again, the respect thing wasn't to disrespect him. It was really what I actually said was, I'm like, you deserve someone that looks up to you. You deserve someone that is going to give you the honor that you deserve, right? Like, I don't want to
Right.
be, we're not going to play dumb and act like if you don't trust somebody's decision making, you're going to respect them. Let's be real.
That's true.
Are we
Right.
being honest? Like, we're grown ups, and for me to say it might not feel as good, but let's be honest. Like, there's times where I've been in relationships and I'll be like, anyway, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm not going off of that, Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? So I'm grown out of that by working on myself, like trying to really not be like that. And so I try to put myself around people that allow me to not have to make those type of decisions like as frequently. I'll say it like that. Like,
Sure.
I want to trust you. And I feel like right now I hadn't seen a track record that made me feel like I could actually trust you to, make those decisions, because
Absolutely.
you don't have really a focus on where you want to go. you know.
No, for sure. Now, Stay
So
Tuned Reviews did say, and let me tell you something. I love Stay Tuned Reviews because he follows the scripture. You have not because you ask not. But he does talk about the reunion. Now, when we saw the preview of the reunion, it looked like it was just going to be one reunion. So I know you can't really tell us about the reunion, but is it part one? Is it one reunion or two parts? Or
it's
did they
two
tell y'all
parts.
that?
It's
Okay.
two parts. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot. It was a lot going on.
Oh, I can only imagine.
A lot. And it's funny because when we were actually doing the reunion, again, we didn't see one episode before this reunion, and the reunion was like a month and a half after we wrapped. So it wasn't that long
Right.
after. But so a lot of the storylines that we now have seen, I hadn't even known what was going on. I'm like, that job, what happened with that? What was that? So it's stuff that comes up that obviously we now know, but it was
Right.
a lot. I think I'll just say this. My segment is probably the calmest segment of the whole reunion.
Oh no, I think we definitely believe that.
Yeah, because we know that the trigger words of control and combativeness connected.
I'm about to be y'all about to have me drunk because I am sipping.
Listen,
Listen,
yeah, I feel like
that's
that's
what I want to know is really where the trigger originates when it comes to the word combative.
mm-hmm.
I have no idea. I don't think the reunion actually. I don't know if it. I kind of feel. I do kind of wish we filmed it after we saw everything, but then I don't because I'm like I'm actually glad I didn't see my part because I probably would have had a little attitude with his little remarks in the confession. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, oh,
Especially at the end when he was talking about the respect. Oh, since you can't respect me, then you know what? That you ain't for me. Like, no, your feelings are hurt right now, sir.
Yeah.
Your feelings are hurt.
and I
You
do
chose
recognize
her
that in
and
real
she.
time because I'm like, I know when he filmed that, so I'm like, I'm giving him grace on that because when the pull away and go away, I was like, what?
Stay
Yeah.
tuned. Stay
Wow.
tuned. I love you so
That one
much.
got me.
No, look at what
But
Stay Tuned
yeah,
Review says. Aries said Stay Tuned Review says, Aries, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. That means if you want to tell us what happens, we'll count our blessings. Amen. I can't with you. I cannot
nah,
with you.
I don't want no legal
Listen,
problems.
that's what
That
it is.
part.
And I
That
mean,
part.
we know that it can't happen, which is fine. But is there anything that you can tell us about the reunion?
I will say that, when everything was over with on the show, like that finale and all that, like I gave Phil a good, probably week to simmer, and I was still sensitive to his feelings, and I did reach out, and me and him went out a few times and actually talked through it deeply, like
Good.
honestly, deeply, openly. He understood exactly where I was coming from. He explained himself. I think we still realized it wasn't the best decision to try to be in a relationship, but it was a lot of fleshing it all out honestly and openly, and we were good, so
Well, I'm
um
glad that there was peace at least. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
honestly, Aries, and to all of y'all. First of all, kudos to all y'all for being open and vulnerable and so selfless and coming on national television.
I would never do it
Um,
again.
to
Never.
to well, I mean, listen. For every curse, there's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to be all of that on national TV, it takes some courage. And this is a moment in time. This doesn't mean that's who you are. So even though we are playing a drinking game with this one word, that doesn't mean that's who that person is. Now, if you exude that behavior outside of it and it keeps showing up, then at that point, that's who you are. But in this experience, it's the experience. And what I often say is this: do not allow somebody's point of view of how they think of you, that's the masterpiece in their head, dictate to you the collection of art that you are as a person in your art gallery. Don't worry about the temporary visitors to your art gallery. Worry about the permanent members to your art gallery. And I really mean that in terms of all these reality shows. Because sometimes we could be a little too consumed in these reality shows. We just need to be viewers. So just saying.
Yeah. And I think, there's some friendships that have developed out of the show. Certain people that are closer than others. But definitely that part, I'll say that I'm grateful for. There's definitely some that I would never talk to ever again in life. But, you know, that's with anybody, right? You put 20 random people in the same place, they're not all about to leave friends, like
That's true.
you're like, So
That's true.
I definitely think the reunion was, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it can get any worse.
If you could use 3 emotions to describe the reunion, what would they be? I'm trying to help you so you won't because y'all, there's NDAs and theirs could get in a lot of trouble. So I'm trying to do it in a way where she doesn't.
The preview gave you a good picture of what it all looked like the whole time.
Okay. That said everything without saying a lot. Understood.
That gave you a picture. That preview was on point.
So it's
combative.
There you go. It says it. It says it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll let y'all talk about the rest of this stuff. But the main reason I came up to was because I was like, I don't want people looking, and I do feel like, especially like the Facebook groups and all that. And Phil has been in there really like just trying to prove to people that he's not broke. And I'm like, he's not broke. That was not the issue. I was not bringing up his money. I was not asking him to pay for me and my kids. I wasn't doing none of that. He has a job,
Right.
a job that he's been having for the last 4 years at a really good company. That was not the issue. There were other factors and other situations that weren't even brought up on camera that you were working through. So for me, I needed that confidence on that day to feel like I would be actually willing to go. Realistically, would I date someone with the things that we're dealing with right now in real life? No. So be honest and true to yourself. That was really all that I was, making sure. Phil is not a bad guy. Somebody is going to be in his DMs and happy to be in a relationship with him, and he'll live happily ever after, I'm sure. So he's not a bad
Very well said.
Yeah. I don't ever want to, make it like I'm, there's no Phil bashing. It's just what it was.
Right. Stay tuned actually did ask a good question. So is it safe to say that production painted the false narrative that he was broke?
Yeah.
I definitely feel like, it's a show. So they are using particular storylines to make it look like what they want to make it look like. On pretty much everybody. That's what you sign up to say you agree that they're gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day, right? So you kind of have to eat it when they paint you a certain way. But I do think we got the gist of everybody's real personalities and how they show up. So I think all of us can look at this as a mirror to figure out how we should be moving forward going after this show. Like everybody got to see themselves and how they show up to other people, regardless if the storyline wasn't the way you wanted it. It's you. It's you. In one way or the other, everybody look like themselves in real life.
Right. So instead of trying to use the excuse that it's editing, that's how they were edited out to look this way. We've already come up and already said they can only edit so much. So it's only what you give them they can edit. So if you continue to give them the same thing and show, that's what they're going to continue to edit.
Agree. That's
so if you have a combative personality, it's going to show.
I love recaps and reviews. She just said, "I expect you all to drink." LOL. She put that in the comment.
And I see it in the chat. Okay, so look, that's 2.
I did.
So taking out.
And I definitely feel like, those
oh my
words
Lord
that word was the accurate depiction of.
What word? What word is it?
You know what? Hang on. Let me gather myself. Okay. Hang on.
Yeah. So
Oh
Look,
Lord.
just because you say that word, like she was saying, that guy, that doesn't mean we don't know what you're talking about. Okay,
Exactly.
still means the same thing.
Subliminals also count this game, ladies
they
and gentlemen.
count. Oh, okay, let
It
me take
does.
another sip then.
Right.
By the time you guys are done, you will be unhinged.
You know, I think I've done very well with this game. I think I've done very well. I've asked very good questions. I've been respectful. I haven't went crazy today. You know.
Right. Listen, we had to throw a curveball for the finale because it seemed like
Don't
they
give
just
me.
kind of curveball the finale to us.
Now, Solana, don't give me that look compared to what happened on the other panel where I went off to this. I think I've done very well today.
Well, yeah. Thank you for not going off on me.
Oh, I could never go. Come on, Aries. I love you.
No,
It's all good.
I know you
It's
wouldn't.
all good.
I saw you. I got to see you go in. That was something else.
Yeah, he played no games
You
that
were being
day.
very combative.
Well, I mean, you know what? Lord help. But here's the tea, though, Aries. Here's the
I'm
tea,
about to
right?
have to switch to
I
Sprite.
did.
Okay.
Listen. I did that because he is a black man that, in the world of black men, we don't get people to defend us like that. But here's the tea. If somebody were to do something wrong to you, I would have defended you the exact same way. And that's
I
the
know you
real
would.
tea.
Yeah.
We all stand on what's right. And, we can't allow for people to give false narratives just because they might not agree with how things are going.
And
Look, say,
on that, I'll say too. Like I actually had a very in depth conversation with him about that, and he knows. Like I don't like when people try to make it like, oh, people just excusing him no, that is he has been definitely that has been discussed thoroughly. Like you need to work on that. You need to work
right.
on it. And he knows that. I think it's just, we all have our moments. And I think sometimes, again, like I said, I gave grace for some of the stuff I saw these confessionals. And I'm like, I want people to give me grace. I might go off on somebody tomorrow. Who knows? I don't know. Your buttons can get pushed and things can happen and you might lose it. You don't want people to just disregard you or call you
Right.
like somebody, you're violent, you're a domestic, you're gonna slap somebody. Wait a minute, hold on, I'm not doing all that. I just lost my temper or whatever.
Right.
So it's not making excuses. I'm like, you were out of pocket. Like you 0 to 100. We need to go to 25. Can we get some steps like in between? So
Right.
nobody's perfect. We gotta.
Y'all see, stay tuned. He said the other panelists never came back after she got gathered all the way together. Had to file a missing person report.
Listen, so recaps and reviews. There was somebody. So recaps and reviews. There was somebody who came up here doing a little too much, and they were being combative, and I was I was having combative behavior that day.
I'm drunk. You're trying to get me drunk.
And
Well,
so
Saturday, that's the point.
I had to gather her respectfully and disrespectfully. And Stay Tuned Reviews is right. She has not been back since. So it is what it is.
Yes. I think she got gathered by everyone. It was a collective.
Yes, it was.
Oh, come on.
Solana, you don't think that happened?
Listen, I think everybody had to say their piece because we all knew that the shit she was saying just was not right. Like it was so out of pocket that it was no.
I think that you start realizing how people deal with things in life. Like I just have my viewpoint is like I always am like, what have you been through that developed your viewpoint on the world, right? We all
exactly right.
Our lenses that we see things through. So if I've experienced somebody doing something that triggers me in your behavior, I'll be like, whoa, you might do the same thing that person did, or you might be that same person. And sometimes we have to just like take a step back and be like, but this is not that person. This is actually just a scenario. And you have to determine, do I use that as a warning, especially if it's something specific to you? Or do I say, these are some traits that are similar, to what I saw, and, but I'm like, don't go that far. Like it got real like specific and personal. I was like, wait, do you know him? Like, cause you kind of went all the way in. I don't like that. So I was getting called Pygmisha and everything after that. I was like, child, I ain't never been a Pygmisha a day in my life. That's the last thing I'm gonna do. But I'm not just gonna let nobody talk about a friend like that.
No, they weren't doing that on this panel because we would have had to gather them then too. There's a difference. We know what those are.
Thank you, Aries. I think
Thank y'all for having me.
Up the entire
Love you as always.
Right. We thank you so much for coming up and bringing light to the situation. And I also want to say, girl, you was looking good in that dress.
Thank you.
You was wearing it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Thank you.
I think Stay Tuned Reviews probably rewatched the episode a couple of times just for that ending. Just going. What? Stay Tuned Reviews likes Aries very much. Just saying.
See, this is why we got to get to the end of it, because Braylon, next he gonna, what? Let's go. He been drinking.
I'm gonna come back after the reunion and talk to y'all.
Oh yeah, well, we're definitely waiting for the reunion because, honey, Tequila, I'm ready. I want to see this.
The feathers, your feathers.
She actually did look like she was about to fly, but that's by the way.
That preview had me cracking up. I ain't gonna lie, it was just like, that is too funny. But anyway, all right, y'all, have a good rest of your day. Look,
all right, thank you. Have a great day.
Let me go be a viewer.
Bye.
In the chat. Bye.
All right.
Yeah, the dress was very nice. Now let's move on to Quentin and oh my god, let me just look at this scene one more time. Such a sad situation. I felt bad.
Not the dress made you want to rededicate your life to Jesus. Now listen, review. Come on, stay tuned. Come on.
I'm telling you. Tequila looked like if you blew a little bit of breeze, she will let you start flying. So the description was very accurate.
She was looking like an angry bird. Okay, I'm done. I'm good.
So let's go on to Quentin, and this is the last aspect of the life. Quentin and what's her name again? Janelle. After this episode, Janelle was looking good.
My connection with Janelle has always been strong, so it's just my chance to let him get to know me and for me to find out a couple more things about Janelle. Finally get to meet some of her family. She have met some of mine.
I have.
Oh, how was that?
That was really nice.
But that's one of my biggest things. Family and friends are imperative to me. I like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How old are you?
34.
That's too worthy.
How you feel about that? Knowing that she's...
Yes, she is. Recap some.
We don't think about it until somebody literally asks us. You don't have any concerns? The only thing that I would have to think about is the kid factor. Okay. Do you want children? I want to be a father really bad. Do you prefer like one child? Do you want a big family? God willing, I would love to have 3. We've talked.
We've been praying for triplets. There's no way
We're doing
on
this 3
God's green earth. I am willing to do Quentin a solid. And we can do like 1.5 and a dog. 3 children is going to be a hard pass for me. That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people now. You can't go to Europe with 3 children.
Damn, you could do him a solid like he's about to do his exam for him or something. Shit.
Am I okay with that being off the table? Something that I just have to think about. I've always aspired to have 3 kids. It definitely changes the conversation. It was good meeting I'm hopeful. You too, boss. Leaving this day, I'm nervous. She says she's willing to.
I don't know why they're downplaying this him wanting kids so much. I've seen several people that,
Yeah.
oh, they are dating an infertile person and they're like, oh, I don't mind not having kids. Me, I'm of the opinion that I don't even want to have kids. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
be happy. But
And
people really
mhm.
downplay when someone keeps saying every day, I want to have a big family, I want to have a big family, and you know you don't want to have kids. Please, why do you put yourself in that situation?
No, I totally agree with you. And Stay Tuned Reviews agreed. Agreed. I think that dress would make any man or woman rededicate their life to Jesus. Amen. Praise him. Hallelujah. No, I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, if that's your absolute, that's your absolute. And that is okay. That is totally fine. Because, I remember when they were at the getaway, Quentin and Janelle, and they talked about, no, it wasn't that. It was a date where Janelle said she wouldn't mind adopting. I felt that was even like, okay, she's open to adopting because of her past and everything else, but they never really concretely got anything down. You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. I don't know. Stay Tuned Review says $100 says Q and Janelle are broken up by the reunion. Extra hundreds says him and Lee are dating. Well, either way, I just hope that it's not
She
combative in
won't
either
want to break
situation.
up because looking at the way she acted during the show, I would rather we keep playing and deceiving ourselves that we are dating till the reunion is. Obviously, they are doing back to back Ready to Love. Another Ready to Love is starting immediately. This ends. So
October
once
13th, 8, 7
people
Central.
just forget. So we will say we're together while we're actually filming that reunion, and that's all. Like after that, we can actually break up.
Like on some real shit, like just being honest, if we want to talk about pick niches, that's kind of like what Janelle is given, just by pretending like you are going to have, kids, knowing you really don't want them, just to basically win the game of having the man at the end. Knowing that this is something that you don't want, you are playing with this man's feelings and heart. Because if he's set on actually having kids, and this is something that y'all have talked about, it should have either been talked about the number, how it's going to happen because you are older, and if that's really what you want. Because the way that she said it when he was saying that he wanted 3 kids, and her confessional was like, or when she was talking to her cousin was saying that she don't want 3 kids running around in her house, like it was a disgust with it, the way she said it. That's just how I felt. Like I just felt
Yeah.
like she was disgusted at the thought of having children running around her
Yeah.
house. Like, and
I
that's
agree.
not.
I agree. And not to mention, yeah.
I remember when she was talking about adopting. Remember, she was specific. Like she was like, she's not going to adopt babies. I can remember her stating that. So I don't
Yeah,
really
true.
think she's up for the idea about giving birth because she was like, I'm going to adopt within like the age of like 5 and above. Like she was like within that age range when the child has already outgrown the whole
Right.
waking up in the night. Do you know how demanding babies are? Babies are very, very demanding for both parents. Like it's very, very strenuous. Because
Absolutely.
when she mentions
But
that age range, I'm like, she doesn't want kids.
and to recap and review's point of all they do is smile and giggle at each other. They don't ask the tough questions. I absolutely agree. I think that a connection of deep affection is there, but concretely, is there something for them to, create together? Absolutely not. Unprovoked Auntie says she wants to be in love and get married tomorrow. Yikes. Well, I mean, she did say she wouldn't be married in a year, but for her to say that, we had to get married tomorrow or to start, I'm like, okay, like can you know how when the airplane lands and there's a few moments for you to recognize that the airplane lands? Like, can we just let Air Ready to Love just land? And let's just get off the plane and just go to the hotel and check in. And let's just rest for a little bit. We don't have to go out
That's
and
all
be active
Quentin is
right
trying
now.
to do is go to the hotel and land. That is all Quentin is trying
You
to
you
do.
you
That
know
was his
what?
whole
You know
mind.
what?
They already
Listen, He
for
said it
with each
already
other.
that he already knew that they was going to, you know what I'm saying? That was his whole goal. And as soon as he picked her and she was like, okay, I pick you, they was on their way to the hotel right after.
I mean, Quentin, he does work out, so he does have a bazooka that can go into a landfill,
Listen,
and
Are you
be
listen, that
in,
is
and,
a lie because I done seen plenty
bodybuilders
of
and
are not
bodybuilders and
I'm
they
not
say,
talking about Quinty, but bodybuilders most of the time they are quite
please say it because I was
elaborate.
about to say it.
Thin
Yes.
dudes, slim dudes. Now you know what I'm talking about.
okay, Ucha, talk about it then.
Listen,
Talk about it.
I'm not going to combat what you just said.
Come
Listen, and also too, let's just go ahead and admit, Quentin, did say that he was going to have sex, so that bazooka was going to be active in combat. Yes,
Listen,
that's indeed.
we already knew from the beginning. He said it round one. He knew. We knew that this was the game that was being played, and at the end, this is what it was. Come on, there's no connection with him and Janelle. We know this for a fact. Like, he just trying to see what it's like, and
Stay
then
two
once he figures
reviews.
it out,
Stay two reviews said that she's acting like more of a pick. Stay two reviews said she's acting like more. She's acting more than just to pick Misha. She was looking for him in the middle of the day with a flashlight at the retreat. Bay, you caught a fish?
yeah,
Yeah,
my
Bay,
Uncle
you
June
already
brought him over here.
know.
We caught
that
it.
scene, please. I cringed.
Every time I think of that, I see her with her old house coat and some slippers, acting like he over there at the bank with his Uncle Junebug, who just now teaching him how to fish, and he finally caught one for the first time. That was the feeling that it gave me. Like
I mean,
Janelle,
I, I mean, I, now I will say this: they were very focused on, drinking, not drinking, but they were very focused on fishing, and I think that really
to
was
switch the
combative.
spray.
And I think they were very combative in disrupting the flow of fishing. Like, you gotta have focus. You gotta have focus. You cannot be combative when fishing. Okay, it's a very trying physical activity. Okay,
I just want to let you know you said it twice. So one, where's the other one? Sir, another drink, thank you. Now, listen. I done had to switch this. Okay,
Oh Lord. How's everybody doing in YouTube land? You doing okay with the game? Where are you in the game? Are you okay?
But in the end, I don't feel. I mean, when it comes to reunion, I'm waiting to see that because I don't think that Janelle and Quentin are together. Hell, I don't. So from the time that she went live during the third episode, I was like, oh no, she ain't with nobody.
Oh
She ain't
Lord.
with because Quentin even told her that he didn't like her combative attitude when they was at the house.
You know what? You know what?
I'm inclined to
You're
think
drunk at this
Quentin
point,
likes the
Aries.
messiness.
Happy Saturday. Happy Sabbath, everyone.
They are still
Yes.
together. Like, probably they will announce their breakup later, or she may get married to him, and I would say congratulations, because I'm not going to hate if she eventually gets married to him, because that's what she wants. But my problem with her is just the behavior she exhibited to get the man. If she eventually
Right.
marries Quentin, I legit would be happy, because
Absolutely
time is
same.
running out, and
Absolutely.
it would be a good match for her, like, honestly. But the
Yeah.
way she
I think
went about it,
Mhm.
it just did not sit well with me.
I think the reason why, I think people are feeling like maybe she doesn't have anybody because she said, well, every dude there was decent, but I don't have any problem getting there. So when you say that, it sounds like something happened after the reunion where you don't have anybody.
Honestly. But yeah, the reunion. I can't wait for Taquila the bed.
Oh Lord.
Who
A
made
crazy
her
bird
wear
flying
that
all over the place.
outfit? like when I said, oh, when I heard who is the bed and all this, and I was like, oh, maybe she's just being so mean. And then I saw Taquila, I'm like, girl, are you for real?
I mean,
Right.
hopefully they did.
Ridiculous.
I mean, hopefully they
And
did
I'm
not
like,
have
she's
to
still not going
tranquilize.
over this over her baby's ass. Please don't still be acting
I
like this
mean,
over her
listen.
baby.
I mean, hopefully they did not have to tranquilize that combative bird. I hope they did not have to do that. I just.
You know what?
Oh, thank God I'm not drinking. You guys are the one
It
making
was a
me.
collection of combativeness.
Listen.
I think she just wanted one extra second of fame
Yeah,
because
that's
that
what
was
it
so
was.
unnecessary. Girl, you let it look like a bed and you were appropriately called.
Yeah, and not to
Like,
mention too, Tequila is blessed with curves. That did not show them off. That did not show them
That's
off.
the kind of dress
really
that
my
a
thank you.
slim person should wear
Yeah, they
because
decided
it will make your waist trimmer and then it has make your hips like look really like. But to her, she looked like a bag of, you know, like a sack of food. Then they tied like a little bit of rope. She just looked ridiculous. Like,
Lord,
uh,
Lord help.
she looked ridiculous. That outfit, she could have worn a very simple bodycon dress. You don't need to,
Hmm.
with that kind of shape that Aquila had, she doesn't need to do too much.
Hmm. Stay two reviews. I cannot with you. Tequila is blessed and highly favored, thicker than Coke bottle
not a
glasses. I
sack of
can't with
food.
you.
Yeah, she just needed a like a simple dress.
Yeah, I
I
agree
don't
with
know
that.
why she wanted to do too much. Like,
And not to mention
Like,
too,
honestly,
you
she
got
had her dress on like she was a star of the show. Like, she actually had some time. Like, girl, you was gone quick. Don't
not
nobody
to
remember
mention
you.
not to mention too, feathers, water, and tables flying at the same time does not look good on TV. What? I'm just repeating what I saw. Okay, listen.
No one's ever liked the look of a wet bird.
You know what?
come on, you guys are mean.
No, I mean, listen. Gigi is right because when you watch the Dawn commercials and how they have to hold down the bird and how they flip and flop back and forth. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Oh, recaps and reviews. Let me tell you something. I know it's it. I know it's a lot of things.
Yes,
It's a
stay
very
tuned.
visual show.
I thought I was the only one. In recent years, we've been having the females fighting each other. Like it has gotten to the point that I'm like, why is it every for the past 4 seasons, the women have fought in the reunion
Hmm.
every single damn time. Like it's just exhausting.
Right.
So I think we've covered everything in this
Uh,
episode, right?
Hmm. We know it's a
yeah,
two-part
we
reunion.
really didn't want to, too much talk about the combativeness of Mariana and Jessica. So,
Does anybody have any last words
First of
before
all,
we?
shout out to Q. We love our brother. He was not here today. Shout out to Q. Um, I think Q would have been like, Salon, y'all full blown crazy. But I still love y'all with this damn game today. But no, you know what? I legit say this. This has become a part of my Saturdays religiously. And that's not to equate religion with television. Don't get it twisted. But to be able to, you know what? Stay tuned. I have an assignment. I have an assignment. Listen. But no, for YouTube to be YouTube, to find this type of love, understanding, and congeniality and coming together as one, this is becoming part of my Saturdays. Well, I genuinely look forward to this. I really, really do. And I think that this show has really taught me that being ready to love has different levels to it. But even though those levels may be difficult to complete, that doesn't mean you should count yourself out of being ready to love. So I love each and every one of y'all. Of course, Gigi, love you. Q, love you. And by the way, y'all give it up for Solana because she took today's show on. She really did. She really
Definitely.
did.
And with us
Like,
throwing this curveball on her, she definitely has stood down, stood 10 toes. Okay, so
listen. Now, question for everybody in the chat. Put a 1 if we should do this game again for part 1 and 2 of the reunion, or should this be the beginning and the end of the game? Should we take a week off to just get rehabilitated?
right, go ahead and put ones in the chat. It's all right.
Listen.
But yeah, I'm definitely waiting for the reunion, okay? Because this is right. The reunion is going to definitely be like from what we've seen. Come on now, y'all know if we do this next week, we do this game during the reunion. We're all going to be drunk here. So, matter of fact, we're going to let you guys know since everybody wants us to, make sure you have your drink ready next week because we are going to play this game again next week. So, Solana, water.
We're very inclusive with this game. So Stage Two Review said 1. Unprovoked Auntie said 1. Yes, please do. Recap Review said 1, but I'm drinking water next week to get herself together. She's going to fast with water. And Stage 2 Review said if Jesus could turn water into this wine, that he would approve of this game. You know what?
Well, I'm glad everybody liked it. So we are definitely going to continue on with this. It's the start of a beautiful thing, okay?
Absolutely.
So,
by the way, y'all, Jessica's Combative Coffee will be coming out soon. If you want Jessica's Combative Coffee, type in Ready to Love 20 as a code, as a code on her website, and you'll get 20% off of Jessica's Combative Coffee coming soon. Amen. Amen. We want Solana, we want her to win. I mean, Janelle has.
We are trying to give ideas, just like Grand Marnier, your new restaurant.
Yes.
Have it sponsored by Grand Marnier. Listen here, we are trying to help out the Black community.
Absolutely, Janelle already has Mean Girl merch
at all.
Absolutely, Janelle has Mean Girl merchandise. Combative Coffee should be a business. Will delivery be free? Now, listen, Ready to Love 20 only gives you 20% off. It does not include free shipping.
Fellas, they gonna flood Jessica. They're gonna flood Jessica's comments with Combative Coffee, and she gonna.
For you guys, I'll be like, it's you. Oh, not me. I'm not involved.
Well, they already blocked you, so what else they gonna do? They done blocked you, so what they gonna do?
But honestly, tell you the truth, though, the way we pitched it is going to active military and veterans and their families. So it's not like we didn't do anything to help anybody. Come on now. We ain't that bad of people. Come on.
Yeah. We love y'all. And this has definitely been a wonderful, wonderful episode, as always. Love this panel, guys. Absolutely love it.
Thank you to the viewers. Thank you, Recap. Stay tuned, Aries, Unprovoked Auntie, Danny, and thank you, Gigi, Braylon, and Q, our forever calm panelists.
Absolutely.
We'll see you guys.
Right. See you guys.
Yes, rehabilitate yourself for next week, y'all, with water, okay? It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time. Love y'all so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.